We know, Lord, that in your presence there is fullness of joy. Please have your way in our midst in the name of Jesus. We commit this program unto thy good and perfect hands. Take total control in Jesus' name. From the beginning to the very end, please manifest your power. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding is from thee, Lord. Please, we pray thee that you please release such unto us in abundance in Jesus' name. Father, the power to make wealth is from you. Please give unto us and prosper us all in Jesus' name. And at the end, we all shall be full as cause to glorify your holy name. And so shall it be. Thank you, loving Father. In Jesus Christ's mighty name we pray.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Right, we'll move on quickly to the next event, the next item of the event. We are in Nigeria. I'm one of those that strongly believes in this country. I believe that there is money to be made in Nigeria, and I'm one of those that will take advantage of it. Am I the only one? I am one of those that will take advantage of it. Oh my God, this is not a spiritual setting. You know what? When you are in spiritual setting, what you say, I am one of those, you just hear them say, I am one of those that will take advantage of it. But I can see that I'm talking to big men. You are already taking advantage of it. So there's no need to say what you are already living. We'll be taking the national anthem out of respect for our country. I'm sure that that man will. So one of the things I love about our country is that challenges breed a new level of resilience in people and courage in people. And many of us here are courageous people. We're people that have decided to stand in the face of the challenges, see opportunities, and we are playing our part to be part of the solution. I always say something. There are two categories of people in every society. There are those that are solving the problems, and there are those creating the problems. If you are one of those solving the problems, please give yourselves a round of applause again as we go into the program in full. You know, one of the key things about this event is to create awareness for how the agricultural real estate marriage should be encouraged, and the investment part of it has been very eye-opening for those that have started collecting their ROI. And that's because Nigeria still imports lots of food. What I mean by that is, if they stop importation today, in just a few months we will feel the impact because we import food. Yet, statistically, Nigeria has, like, the statistics that I read earlier in the year, around May, was putting Nigeria as having arable land. We have most of the arable land in Africa, actually, and that 70% of our arable land is under-cultivated. So even the land we are cultivating is done in such a manual, micro scale that we are not benefiting from the advantage that we have. So this event is an important one to shed light on the opportunity to earn money while solving a vital problem. The problem of feeding the nation, the problem of solving that we are not importing food, and and the problem of real estate at the same time profiting. So that's what this event is about. So during the course of the event, we're going to have different speakers across different industries and leaders share with us, and I'd like us to open up our minds. And at the end, as the son of a farmer, that he grew up in a farm and he understands how this thing works, and he understands the value chain that Nigerians are missing out on. His name is Rotimi Ajama Muhi. And for me, I would say that everybody here has an idea of who he is. By the end of this program, you will know more about him and how AssetRise is positioned to solve the problems within this industry. The core values of AssetRise include being genuineness, relationship, excellence, accountability, and timeliness, which they are acronymed into GREAT. And the key business they play in is real estate, residential real estate, agro real estate. They do consultancy for those who want to establish. Because in my own little way, I think we've done business now for almost a year, myself and Mr. Rotimi, and every time people ask me about what I'm doing in the agri space, I'll say I have 36,000 tubers of yam growing. Just because I have relationship with him. Everywhere I go to, I'm like, do you know I'm doing farming? I have 36,000 tubers of yam. I'll not tell you the premium shaking I have seen on that journey, but at least I can proudly say I have 36,000 tubers of yam growing in the Lagos State. Well, that's because of the relationship I cultivated, and I'm hoping that we'll all open up our hearts to the opportunities that will come with this conference. I would like to bring up the board chairman, because our board chair stepped out for a few seconds, I believe. Yes, he's back. He'll be back in a few seconds. Okay. So, because I feel like it's important that we understand the institution that has been put in place to protect the interests of all of those who invest with AssetRise. I wanted the board chair to speak first before our host and convener of this event. And the reason is because in Nigeria, people don't prioritize structures in organization. Nigeria is full of one-man businesses where all decision is made by one person, and that one person can make or mar your destiny if you have the misfortune of. Round of applause as we bring on Mr. Rotimi Oja Jamoyi. I'm sure I spelled correctly. Did I do well? I'm always going.
You're always moderate. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I can hear us speak. Good morning. We are happy Nigerians, right? So you want to give us a good morning, Nigeria? Good morning, Nigerians. Okay, thank you so much. Deep appreciation to you for making out your time to be here today. We are so grateful that despite the flooding situation, right? You can drive down here. And we appreciate your presence so much. So I want to deeply appreciate the presence of our guests and guest facilitators. Let me start by saying that some of them, I have not seen them face to face before. And today we have the privilege of hosting them in this gathering. And we want to appreciate them for all that we do. So I will start by appreciating Mr. Boyega Fatimile for making his presence available. Please, can you give him a round of applause? Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate you so much. The first time I had to see him face to face was at the 40th anniversary of the Dear Fatimile and Co. I mean, that was my stroke. That a real estate company in Nigeria has grown over 40 years. I was challenged at that event that we can grow transgenerational businesses if this has survived so long with such immense contribution and impact in the Nigeria community and in the real estate world. How many of us don't know the year Fatimile? Maybe Gen Zs, right? Yes, but almost everyone who is in their 40s, 30s, about one encounter or the other with this great firm. And it's our privilege to bring him here to speak with us on how he has sustained such a legacy and a brand over this time. Fortunately, I was in the Republic of South Korea with his son, and I pledged to him that he must bring Daddy to this event. And by God's grace, we have the privilege of hosting him here. Thank you so much, sir. One striking moment at that 40th anniversary is that he is trying to pass the baton to our generation. And that is my strong. I mean, he understands the model, and that anniversary was more on, can this generation take it up from here? So one of the key things we learned is how to marry the 40 years plus we that are just coming up in the industry. And it's also a privilege to have here one of the companies that we have partnered with for over 5 years, and one of the companies that has given some of us here money that we don't even know. How many of us have participated in our palm oil partnership? Okay, so thank you so much, sir. We have the privilege of partnering with Okitipupa Oil Palm PLC, which has been in existence for over 40 years also. I grew up in that same community, driving through the hectares of palm trees. I mean, over 10,000 hectares of palm trees across 9 communities, planted by the then people who understand that Nigeria can feed themselves and generate their income, and not the now people. I'm sorry. So, this man has been of amazing leadership to the Okitipupa Oil Palm PLC. The last time I was in his office, I could not reserve my appreciation, because if I take account of people in my village in this room, maybe 1 or 2, and it's due to his impact in that community. You can hardly find a youth in my village coming to Lagos because they don't have business coming to stay in the traffic. The palm oil, the palm trees are source of income for them and making their lives better. And it's our privilege to host the MD, CEO of Okitipupa Oil. We are also privileged to have in our midst. So like I said, Mr. Boyega Fatimile taught us at the 40th anniversary that we must marry the older generation with a new one. X values will go into extinction. And one of the disruptors in the real estate industry in Nigeria, we had a saga 2 years ago with the agri-tech companies who promised you enough interest, and at the rest, the company fold up and they disappear. But there were men who always go into their thinking and come to solve problems. And this man is the MD of the only crowdfunding company in Nigeria, licensed by the Security Exchange Commission. He's young, he's brave, and he has led a great delegation of real estate experience both in Nigeria and outside the country. And it's our privilege to host the MD of Prop Crowding, Dr. Ronald Iginobu. Please can we appreciate his presence. It will also be glad to say that Dr. Ronald is the link between us and our honorable guest, Boyega Fatimile, and we are at Korea together also. We are also expecting all the dignitaries, and as they come, we will take the roll call and appreciate your presence. For the sake of our time, I would like to say that AREIN, in a brief introduction, is not an analysis of the housing deficit in Nigeria. We have done so much of this, so much talk by the federal government and whoever parastatals that have been set up for this. But it appears that the problem of housing in Nigeria is not getting to be solved. In some conferences at the that passed. We have the Honorable Minister for Housing saying that for good 4 years or 8 years plus, the federal government was able to deliver only 4,000 housing units out of 17 million housing units. So we are not here to analyze the housing problems. So AREIN is a deep concern because we see that the value of real estate is not well tapped in Nigeria, and we need to tap into this value from every means. And the values inherent in real estate can make every one of us to solve our housing problems ourselves. So real estate is a catalyst to economic development. It will solve agriculture. It will solve all the economic challenges that we have in the country. And in this, we are going to be seeing more of what AREIN have to present to us on how we are fostering home ownership, agriculture, commercial real estate, and every other type of real estate in this conference. And we are glad to have you host. We're going to hold this meeting by Asset Right Limited, a company that's fully registered by the Corporate Affairs Commission of Nigeria. And we are licensed by the Lagos State Real Estate Regulatory Commission, LASWERA. We are also licensed by the EFCC SCOOM and other members like the REDA, the Real Estate Government Association of Nigeria. And we have been in business for 3 years now without losses. I mean, our lawyer is happy that we don't have a losses. And no customer coming to shout in our organization. And so we are glad doing this because we believe that people will buy into real estate and take real estate more serious if they make informed decisions. And the reason why we are here is to help us make those informed decisions. And we are not just doing this alone. It's our privilege to our guests and also institutions in governments and in private parastatals and in private organizations that have supported us, and also they are here in this room. So it's my privilege to welcome and to Australia, Lagos State Real Estate Regulatory Authority. We have representative from REDA. We have representative from our bank, Sterling Bank, and it's our privilege also to welcome the GM, or I think the GM will be and adding no value. So we appreciate Sterling Bank for taking that good step of solving agricultural problem in Nigeria. We are also glad to introduce our major partner, AG Mortgage Bank, PLC, who have taken the challenge of solving mortgage problems in Nigeria by providing support, financial support, in the real estate industry, and also they bought into our concepts and are ready to push agro real estate in Nigeria. I would like to say that this event is packed full of so many information that will help you make, not for any man's eloquence, not for the blinking of the hall, not for shouting, but real estate is part of your life. 80% of your wealth will be in real estate. You are going to buy properties, hand over to your generation, you're going to invest in real estate, and if you don't want to get your fingers burnt, I think this is something that you should learn. And we appreciate your presence. Also to our guests online, this event is widely broadcasted all over the world. We have audience in the UK, Canada, and every other country that you are watching us from. We appreciate your presence. And to the gentlemen of the press, we have TVC here and other media partners in this event. We say thank you for coming. Stay relaxed and enjoy the best of the program. Thank you.
Because that is not good enough. We can definitely do better. We can do better. Thank you. Thank you. Has the benefit of a sunbeam that you would have driven past or seen around town over and over again. first speaker is an executive director and co-founding partner at the DR Fatimileni & Co. He is also the executive vice chairman of Loki International Consultancy Limited. It's a fund procurement and management, and Loki Homes Limited, developers and marketers. His business and investment management experience spans over 30 years, with his footprint very evident in the corridors of property management and development in Nigeria, the African contingent, and overseas. He's a member of the board of several rated organizations and a key member of many professional bodies and associations in Nigeria and overseas, including the Nigerian Institute of Estate Surveyors and Valuers, the Nigerian Institute of Management, and the Nigerian Institute of Directors, London. Please, with a warm round of applause, like a warm round of applause. The reason some of us can go into real estate is because they did a good job. Thank you, sir.
I'm actually delighted to be here, and the issue of agric has been very paramount on my mind. You know, agric is not done in the urban area, they are done in the rural areas. But the intriguing thing about agric in Nigeria is that the highest contributor to our GDP. So I expect that is the one we should actually pay more attention to than any other thing. It contributes 23%. Even our rather, what do you call it, the technology sector is only contributing about 15%, although we think it will grow. But 23%, if it grows, it will make a lot of difference to our economy and employment capabilities. So what is a real estate? A real estate is the ability to identify a piece of land, solve it, properly addressed, and has a title. But why do we have to do that? It's because without an identity for a real estate, it's impossible to attract capital. So in the balance of development balance, they call those dead capitals. They are capital that could be made alive. And to make it alive is just to do certain things about it and make it productive. So today, we can't even feed ourselves in Nigeria. And we have a country like Ukraine, because of its agricultural prowess, and become a destabilizing factor in the world because it could not export what it used to export. And each time I think about it, I think Nigeria can get to this position. And if we get to that position, to get there, what do we do? In the 60s, in the early 70s, Nigeria was very vibrant. Oil was not as important as it is today. So we export grains, we export cotton, we export cocoa, and we made tons and tons of money that is very impactful in those days. But today, we are not doing anything at all. Or if we are doing, it's just minimal. Why is that? There are some fundamental mistakes that have been made in the past. And these mistakes has to be corrected. The first mistake was that the element that catalyzes development in agri was killed. In the early 80s, we see the demise of all the marketing boards. That's where the problem started. Cocoa marketing board, the cotton marketing board, the granule marketing board, and all. Government want to discontinue working with them. And what they did was to put them up for sale. And they didn't put them up for sale in a business-like way. They just valued all those things. Sorry, I was part of all of those who valued them, but I didn't know that's what they would do. I valued the cocoa industry. I also valued the cotton board. But the issue was that in this organization, there were a lot of intellect and knowledge that is embedded in them. And we allow those knowledge and the know-how to die, just go away. So today, half of our cocoa is not of one grade. You can't even sell them. People don't want them. Or when they want to take them, they take them at the lowest price they can. They just do it. Cotton is no longer there. Granite is not there. All the grains we do not have anything to show for it. Although the export market has grown in soya beans, in cashew nuts, in sesames, and every other thing. But those are important. The most important thing is to give this most important part of our economy the ability to grow. How do we do that? That's the first thing. We have a lot of land that are just lying fallow all over the country. What do we do with it? The only thing that we have to do is to get our stakeholders to be working hard. Not to look at going to Abuja every month to collect money. Because there's money in their states. And all they need to do is to do some things in that thing and make it. Get all your land surveyed, get them divided into estates like they do in Lagos. So go to Lagos. Lagos has the population and the people. They acquire land, they build their estates, and give it to people to build. When you come for land from Lagos, you get it, you pay them. When you build your house, you also pay them every year, elementary, whatever you pay property tax, you pay everything you have to do. And immediately you do that, because if they have refused to do that industrial or the housing estates, those money will not come. The same thing has been done in Abuja. The new minister in Abuja, since he has ground rent that is over 30 years, he wants to collect all of it. And he expects that billions of naira will come so he can do development. So what they are running away from is what they should do. I walk through so many in Ogun State, in Oyo State, and all. We have land, we have everything. The land is just there. And for agri, you need scale. If there is no scale, then you really can't do anything. Maybe as an individual, you are able to work 2 to 5 acres of land. That is very small. So to get scale is to get all those land brought into productive use. And like I said, how do you do it? You must survey them, you must plant them, you must give them roads. Rural roads, not the urban roads. Rural roads that can aggregate all their products from their farm jobs and then take it to the center. So the first thing we need to do is to make agri estate a real estate asset indeed. If they are not titled, they are not real estate assets. They are just mere asset that is just lying there. So I expect that if we, as we go to the state governors, that every land in your rural area, title it, make it available, investors will come and buy into them, and then you will start making money. We have Ministry of Housing in most states. In most states of the country, we have Ministry of Housing. They also have their housing corporations. So the Ministry of Housing is doing its own, they have their housing corporation. There's nothing wrong with Ministry of Agri in every state having their ministry and have the commodity commission or whatever you want to develop. And there are enough institutions to help what I'm saying. You have all the research institutes that researches into all kinds of things. Palm oil, cocoa, cotton. You have so many of them. And we are also bestowed with the fact that in Africa, we have IITA that can develop all the needed concepts and seedlings that we need to get the best of our product out. So we need to do that quickly so that those are supporting things, those are the soft things that will make AREIN to grow in Nigeria. Now, we're talking about I talked about earlier about the various requires hard work. In the old Western region, there was hard work. All the cocoa simply you have were planted by government in their various government places, so that the discipline was there for the farmers to take and grow, and they had the best species. So basically, my take to this morning is that Nigeria can rise. Nigeria can have every money we need, including dollar or whatever it is. But there must be production from here. If there is no production, without production you can't have anything. Somebody was talking about China. I said China, growing up, we know about China Mao and all. In all those days, they were developing the agrarian agriculture. They were developing their grain. They were doing the storage of their grain. They could feed themselves and they could sell to the world. So also India. Today, our people on the streets are waiting for rice from India, rice from Indonesia. Whereas in Ogun State, when I was a kid, they were also doing Ofada rice. Ogun State alone, properly put in place, can produce enough rice for the entire Nigeria without we don't need to import any rice or anywhere. So also grains like maize and all. But we can't do them now unless capital is drawn into them. So we need capital to go into them. So there must be that deliberate effort on the part of government. Why am I saying government? I can tell you that what one government can do in 1 year, if you take individual company 10 years to accomplish sale. A very serious government in any area of life can do so much. I have an experience like that. We have an NGO in our company. We've been doing malaria work and all. We've been doing it for almost about 10 years with little impact. So I met a development person like this. I said, look, why don't you partner with the state government and see what we do? Or even the local government. Then we decided to partner with the local government, and local government. Within 3 years, the impact we were able to make there was so substantial that I felt that why have we been wasting so much money? We spend less money, we bring more impact. So government is very important and is a catalyst, and that is why they are there. That's why they put them there. So I talked about AREIN. If you have AREIN, and I know that we don't have how to aggregate what they produce, we call aggregators. Aggregators are all over the world, all over Europe, all in the region of the West. They are there. They aggregate all the grain, all the wheat and all. And because it's their business, they ensure it is the best standard. They ensure that they have silos. They ensure that when they buy, they can keep it for a long time and they can sell at the highest prices. But today, we have only 37 companies in Nigeria, spanning from Kaduna to Port Harcourt, who are aggregators in some of these products. But how much can they buy? They don't have the money, they don't have the willpower, they don't have anything to be able to make an impact in what they're doing. So we need to go back and develop those things we learned behind. The cocoa industry, for instance, I've told some of the people I can talk to that we need to bring back a cocoa board in another form, maybe the commission.
When the blocks closed them out, they imported cows through a plane. Because if a nation cannot feed itself, what that means is if a country decides to fight you, you are done. So when Qatar had that crisis in the Middle East and they blocked them off, they couldn't get milk, they couldn't get meat. And within a month, in a national emergency, they flew in cows to produce milk. Now, a few years after, they said if you shut them out, they can feed themselves with enough grains and food that they would not need any importation reserved for 6 months. That's planning, and that's what Nigeria needs. So please, once again, give a round of applause for our last speaker. I loved hearing him say that all the agreed in the world, that applies to my people in that corner, without us in the real estate space cannot work. Yeah, it's a symbiotic relationship that the government needs to, we can't keep waiting for the government to do it, which is why I'm excited about being here and what is going on with AREIN. We can't wait for the government to spearhead this. We would start and be running, and they will catch up with us, and by the end of the day, we'll see major development. We have a few dignitaries that have stepped in the course of the program. A few of our dignitaries have stepped in, and I know that Kalotimi wants to welcome them personally. He wants to honor, give a personal touch to the welcoming. So I'll give him the floor to do that. Our ambassador is also online and ready to go. We said 11, and 11 will be 11. So let's just quickly work.
Last year, our first production of 10,000 tubers in Lagos State from Epe, and we took tubers of yam to the office of the governor and also to the Ministry of Agriculture, telling them that in Lagos State alone, to justify what our guest just spoke about, the value of a yam in Lagos State is how much? A tuber of yam. Please, let's think, please. 2015, right? How many of us know that over 80% of the cost of that yam is the cost of logistics? So 80% of the cost is because we bring in the yam from Benue, from Nasarawa, true or false? So the trailer will bring it on the way and cost you. When you get to the market, you know our market people. The Agbero, the Yalojas, and you are only buying an inflated yam. So inflation in Nigeria is created. And we said, Lagos State has enough land, we can cultivate yam. And this year we have proven to the Ministry of Agriculture with our 1 million tuber eco yams project delivered in Lagos State. When we travel out of the country, it's only NNPC we know. But there are organizations like NISA. Please, we appreciate the presence of NISA in our midst. Please, can you? Thank you so much. We also have housing. I mean, the people who always come to mark your fence, they are here. But please, don't deal with them here. So we have the Lagos State Physical Planning Agency right here with us. And they are also going to be telling us some of the things we need to look out for before they come and mark our houses. So they don't mark the houses we're living. We also have a lot of our dignitaries that are trooping in, and we will appreciate them as they come in. We have men from DSS. They are not here to arrest anybody, they are here to learn also. And it's good that DSS is learning agriculture, because someday DSS guy will retire and he will retire to something. And we have those who have kept us in business, our partners. We want to say a big thank you for them coming. We have our stakeholders, our shareholders, those who have backed us up all this while, and it's my pleasure to welcome Engineer Akintunde Owolabi. Please, can you sit down? Thank you so much. We also have Mrs. Toyi Williams in our midst. Thank you so much. And others will be trooping in as the event goes on. I will not be able to step out of here without appreciating one of our partners who flew all the way from Akwa Ibom to be in this event, because he saw our agri-innovation in Ado-Odota, and he said this must be replicated in Akwa Ibom. He has hosted us in Akwa Ibom, and life is here with us to also listen to how these things are solved. Please help me appreciate the presence of Mr. Tom and Yekan all the way from Akwa Ibom. Thank you. So we are set for the ambassador to take us on a stunning journey of his experience in real estate. This man has led different versions of real estate, is a man you want to listen to. Thank you, Tope. I have nothing.
All right, we mentioned that by 11 we'll be bringing in the ambassador. And in keeping to the time, as we promised, we're going to be bringing him in. But before we say that, one of my big mommies in Lagos, my sweet 16 mommy, Mrs. Olayinka Bello Bolanle. Please give her a round of applause. She is energetic. You are going to experience that energy in a few minutes. But before we go into that, I would like to quickly read the citation to bring up the ambassador. There is a whole lot of people that we don't get to know, which is why it is extremely important that we attend conferences, events, because it exposes us to a body of knowledge that we can be very ignorant about. The Nigerian ambassador to the Republic of Korea is a graduate of aeronautical, electronics, and telecommunications engineering. He's an aeronautic engineer, a flight engineer, and a former instructor and national examiner at the Boeing 727 aircraft. He founded the Itari System Limited in 1998, and after his MBA in finance in 2001, he successfully provided the local content for the design, financing, and implementation of the first, most sophisticated broadband wireless teleport in West Africa, the Jigawa Wireless Broadband Network. I'm sure you probably didn't know that. Please, with a warm round of applause, welcome Mr. Ali. His Excellency.
His Excellency.
His Excellency. His Excellency Ali Mohammed Bagashi. Please, a round of applause, please. Will be joining us online.
Is also a security for us. Governments press it where they can find it. It's where they can done easily and a way to know the difference between a developed and a developing country is the efficiency of housing finance. Because all the corruption that we're talking about in developing countries today is as a result of poor housing policies and implementation. Because when people do not have a house, they're insecure and they want to do things to steal. It is clear to many professionals, housing is not architecture, it's not building, it's not design, it's not landscaping, it's not office of it, it's not land surveying, it's not town planning. Housing is just economics and finance. And it's there to be seen, not a matter of finance, all the countries develop their housing, all because it provides because to the lower income sector of the market. Nigeria today, were classified by the example as Nigeria today, classified by the efficiency of its housing. And it is how much as government able to provide access, finance people within lower segment, working class, able to access housing that our economy. What that does is increases our credit strength. Now we have asset bank. Kinds of liquidity facilities because you have the assets to back whatever issue you decide to do at the capital market. So it is very important that government understands that until we give that access, 70% of our people will continue to suffer, and corruption will continue to increase because we are creating a demand for it. When people do not have a house and they can't pay high rents, they do all kinds of things to try and make money so that they can house themselves wherever they are. This also brings in the issue of urbanization. You find out today our cities, our population, almost 50% of our population is in the urban sector. And the reason is because when people get to that adult age, there's no employment for them, there's no housing for them in the villages, they all troop into the city. And this urbanization puts up a lot of pressure on our cities. So our cities have become mere slums because the majority of the people that live around the cities live in slums. Now, talking about agriculture, as you know, for any country to develop, you have to first of all have food security. And food security, we do not need to tell anybody about that. As bad as agriculture is in our country, it's still the largest contributor to our GDP. This smallholder farmers that we tend to neglect, it is their activities that continue to feed us. Today, the import of rice has reduced because of local production. We're the largest cassava producer, we're the largest cashew producer in Africa. But we need to industrialize our agriculture, and we also need to link up our rural agriculture to housing. In this case, what we need to do is we create estates that are combined real estate and farms at the same time. So when we provide a house for a family, farming, where they can grow their needs, their staple foods, and we can go ahead because of the cash flow that is produced from the housing and also from what we get in the agricultural produce to provide them with the irrigation.
Have the setup done for the panel session. Can I have someone from the planning team have the chair set up for someone very important walked in, is my mentor, and I'm proud to be associated with him, is Dr. Nigi Adesoya. Please give him a round of applause. Yes. He's been grooming a whole lot of us for ages. And we're proud to have him. He has gathered over 21 years experience in the financial service sector in Nigeria and National Bank of Nigeria. He also recently consulted with the World Bank on the design and transaction structure for the Family Home Funds, FHF, a 500 billion social intervention program for housing by the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He also was recently appointed by the former Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, as the team lead for the real estate and construction sector under the job creation unit of the Office of the Vice President. of Nigeria. He is currently a member of the technical committee of the mortgage sector of the Financial System Strategy, the federal government of Nigeria financial sector reform driven by the Central Bank of Nigeria. Please, with a warm round of applause. Please, with a warm round of applause. Welcome, Mr. Roland Dinova, the MD of Crowdy. I cannot mispronounce that name because I will not have home to go back to. I am married the Edo people, so I've perfected how to pronounce the names there. Another person that will be joining him is someone who also plays heavily within that industry. Ngozi, sorry, why would I assume Ngozi is a he? Okay.
You are correct.
All right. He holds MSc degree in banking and finance from the University of Ibadan. He's a fellow Chartered Institute of Bankers of London and Institute of Bankers Nigeria. His career has spanned over a period of 25 years. He served in various senior management capacity at Savannah Bank, Commercial Bank of Africa, held different positions, but currently he is the CEO and Managing Director of AG Mortgage Bank. Please, with a warm round of applause, welcome Ngozi and Yobu. Please, a round of applause again. And the third person that will be joining this panel to discuss housing and mortgage is someone who has spoken with us earlier. He is an executive director and co-founding partner at the DR Patileni & Co. He's also the executive chairman of Loki. I read this profile earlier, but I'd like to conclude by saying that he is a member of the Nigerian Institute of Estate Surveyors and Valuers and the Institute of Management, the Institute of Directors, and he has played in this industry for over 30 years. Please, once again, welcome Mr. Boyega Fatimile. We would love you to join this panel. I'm looking forward to the conversation that I think you should move to this chair because you're the one anchoring. Yeah, so that you'll be able to direct the questions to all of them. Our event was brought together by someone who is passionate about we should acknowledge and real estate. So joining the panel is someone who is passionate to housing. She operates in that sector. She's the deputy director in LASPA. She has been. Oh, I'm actually not in the session. Wow, sorry. I'm just seeing a whole lot of information here. So, she is the deputy director. She works with Lagos State. I called her my sister earlier because she's a sweet 16 that is very, very passionate about the real space. Her name is Mrs. Ola Bello. And I would like you to give a round of applause as you welcome her. So I actually assumed you were going to be moderating, but I think it would be an interesting thing to have you channel the conversation because you operate in this industry, you operate in finance, and you operate also in real estate. So it will be, we'll be getting a deeper perspective if we have you ask the question.
With people who understand what they are doing. The other thing I notice is that a lot of people are put in places where they don't have expertise. And if you don't have expertise in that thing, you are likely to make boring bond of it. It's not going to work. Because we are going to make mistakes at the end of the day that will make the thing or not effect. So I think the major thing that the government has to do, federal government has to do, is to look for a way of weighting that mortgage market and make that there's money there. So when money is there, when we are creating mortgages in billions, the few hundred people who are not paying their mortgages will not be a problem. I've had this as is foreclosure, no. Because if you have only 100 or 150 mortgages in your bank, and then 2 is not paying, it's major. But if you have if you have 1 million, 10 million mortgages running, and one is not paying, it takes time because it won't affect your bottom line. It's just less than 1%. Or what do you do with 1%? You know, this is the scan it in the process. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So let me start with thank you so much. So, madam, I would like to have your take on this.
Okay, from government perspective, I'm a town planner, I work with Lagos government, and I just want to put it right in such a way that whenever we give land to our developers to build, we have some requirement that they just have to meet up with. And we discover most of the time that developers generally, irrespective of state, either Lagos state government or state or Osun state, but peculiarly to Lagos state now, people come, please, we need to develop, could you please give us 10 acres or 20 hectares to roll with and provide mass housing under affordable housing unit? I mean, come to think of it, there's nothing called affordable housing. Right? Because by the time the project is completed and keep telling you it's 35 million, 1 bedroom, you know, and 2 bedroom is 45 million, 3 bedroom is, you know, it's crazy. So tell me what is available in it. Okay, that's not why I'm here. My point is,
Round of applause, round of applause.
Before my session comes up, right? Developers should please ensure that they do the needful before government will be able to also allocate what is. Danny will also explain better, but let me just open it up a little bit. If you have, I was at Ministry of Housing 2017, 18, 19, 20, and I had to handle some files that developer kept coming and they promised heaven and heart, only for them to get that letter that you are hereby allocated 10 acres to build. With that letter, it's government speaking. So anywhere they go with that letter, people give them audience. Behind them, they come to us that, please, this letter, is it real? Are you guys the one that gave them? And we said yes. And they go use that letter to source for fund, and they will move to site.
Okay, sir.
I just want to, because it's coming from the government side. He says for developers, there are so many things they're doing. But our major problem with government is the developers is that there are too many regulations, too many regulators. They are in Lagos now. I can count up to about 16 places that you have to touch, and they delay and make construction extremely expensive. Because the delay can cause so many things. It can cause inflation in the project. It can cause extension of money. There are too many things. So why should Lagos State not make it a one-stop position that we can solve all these problems once and for all? Instead of NASA come, disruptive people come, these people asking come, and at the end of the day, it's the same thing, and you are going in a circle. I think that's one thing government can do to help the development of real estate. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. I would also want to learn my voice. Okay. Thank you, Madam. Thank God that you're also from the government side. And one of the things we've been trying to do at AG Mortgage Bank is also to be able to put together, and that is coming up soon. We want to see a situation where we put together authorities, particularly those of you that are in the land administration of your states, and let us think through how can we make registration of mortgage deeds also less expensive. It's also another factor that leads to poor creation of mortgages. You realize you have to do stamp duty at 10%, you have to register the title deed at 7% or 5%, then you need to register the mortgage itself. At the time you put that together, it's almost getting to the amount that the purchaser had used to buy up the house. So government also needs to look at such a thing like that. And then legislating also to ensure that, governors, I know Lagos State do this a lot, governor's consent is recognized here, but other states don't do that. And so if you now need to wait to get to getting C of O to also be able to have access to funds, see, because the truth is, most of these developers, the truth is, they will actually need to go and walk around what you are giving them because they don't have access to this money. From the background where they are coming from, they want to do business. I mean, asset rights needs to do business. Asset rights does not have a printing press anywhere it prints money from, a printing and minting house anywhere. So you need to have a bankable title to approach 80 mortgage bank to access funds. And once it comes to me, you have to be patient with them because I also have to come and do verification. Are you sure this is correct? But the truth is, if we can maybe restrict all this title to maybe like governor's consent and empowers governor's consent as a bankable title for at least the developer, but then when it gets to the final end user, you can then insist on registration of sub-leaseholds instead of signing those.
Even the so-called advanced country, I'm aware of the projects in both the US of a big church, right? It took them 2 years before they could be done with the planning processes. But the developer will just come around to the government and they can tell you, I want this approval in 1 month or 2 months. For God's sake, you guys are going to embark on a project that will outlive you. So what are we talking about? There is a need for proper planning. What are we talking about? There should be need for synergy, beyond you dumping your documents and you now expect to move to site next week or next month. I do advise people in any forum that, for God's sake, everything is not about money. Cohort brilliant people among us. Involve them in your pre-design stage. It saves time. And by the time all of that is done, in fact, Lagos State government is working a lot of, is making a lot of effort now to have one talk shop model. In which case, within 1 month, you have your approval. If everything is set. What do I mean? If everything is properly set and planned, and you have your pre-designed screened, and of course, by the time you make submission, when you are coming to make submission, you are paying money. So it's not funny. And it's your money, and with that, we develop our environment. So let us get it right.
Right? While the state has its own argument, I think for any project to be affordable, right, it must be on time and under budget. So when you take more than the necessary time to get approvals, your interest on the supply side going up on another level, and that then becomes a problem. So I think this issue of affordability is something that together both the supply side and the demand side need to work together to achieve, even the law and even the regulators. So please, a round of applause for my panelists. So I understand that we have questions from the audience, so just take the next, maybe the next 10 minutes to take questions. Also he's talking about the demand side. As a contributor to the NHF, and I think Simon, you might want to take a go at this. As a contributor to the NHF, how can you access the NHF to buy or acquire a property? It is very difficult to achieve it. So Simon.
Okay, I will start by saying it's not as difficult as you had emphasized. It's my group head, business development. Are you here? I cited you somewhere around here. Lady Joby, can you please stand up? All right, please. Okay. Please just remain standing, please, just for a few minutes. Sorry, please. That beautiful lady standing there have done NHF in 3 months. Yes or yes? Yes. Good.
So the options, when you only 2 options.
Okay. All right. Anyway, thank you, Asset Rights, for giving us the opportunity again to showcase ourselves. We brand ourselves as mortgage solution providers in Nigeria, and one of the spaces we play very proficiently is in assessing the National Housing Fund, and then they recently enacted 25% PENCOM pension retirement savings reform, PENCOM-backed equity funds. So if you need clarity, we have our stance here, so I won't waste our time. My team members will explain that to you. But I tell you the truth, in 3-4 years, we've done a in excess of over 10 billion naira from the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. And you can check them up, check Federal Mortgage Bank offices here in Ikeja or Marina, and they will tell you that if you need to do your NHF, approach AG Mortgage Bank. It's not that difficult, but there are certain criteria, there are certain documentations. If you don't meet them properly, it will be delayed. When you meet with my team, they will explain that to you. I guarantee you. And if they fail you, I'll give you my number, call me.
Okay, thank you very much, Simon. We have another question here. If long-term funds are not available in mortgage banks, how do developers get funds for big projects? So I'd like Mr. Fatimile to take that. If long-term funds are not available, as we discussed here, how do developers get funds for big projects?
Thank you very much. For developers, their requirement for funds is short. Probably 3 years, you'll be able to get out of that project. For you that want to hold onto the property for the next 25 years, that's where the problem is. The developers don't have problem going to the banks to get money, even for mortgage banks, for commercial banks. They get just that the interest rate is high. But they are able to cope because they can actually pass those interest rates to the buyers. However, what that means is that Nigeria cannot produce enough housing without buyers that can afford those houses. Today, if you push out 1,000 housing units in the market, it's difficult to find buyers. And when you don't find buyers, you run into problem yourself. That's part of the problem Federal Mortgage Bank had run into, because they're giving loans in various locations that are not Lagos or Ibadan or Abuja. In those places, we don't have a lot of people who have the cash or wherewithal to afford those houses. So they're lying there, and so they can't recover their money. So you can see why they are a little bit reluctant to ensure that NHF gets to people as quickly as possible. But all these things has to be within the context of mortgage availability. And we can use any institution. The Americans use their army and things to ensure they get those money in place. We just need to be innovative about it. And in innovation, we must have the caring mind for the masses. Because if the government is not caring whether the masses get what they want, what they should get, then we won't get anywhere. We are talking about food. Most people in Lagos can buy food that comes from abroad. But when you go to the rural area, they can't. And you are not.
One of our ICT projects, the stake of the government is the land, right? Then we give the developer the ability to develop on the design at signed. So it's not the duty of the PPP office to fine-tune the agreement so that we'll be able to know our percentage of the project. If the total project cost will be 50 billion and our equity on it is about just 20, say the land, then as soon as the project is carried out, the office of PPP, which resides close to the governor's office, will ensure that both parties play their role accordingly. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, so I think basically that is just that. I mean, the reason for PPP is because, again, just like Madam had said earlier, there is nothing called affordable housing in Nigeria, anywhere in the world. But government needs to step in at a point to help subsidize. So if you want to approach the delivery of housing from the PPP perspective, then you must be able to approach government with a value you as a developer is proposing to the government. What problem do you actually intend to solve with this your PPP initiative? You just have to have that, first and foremost. Some government must have to have a buy-in into what you are trying to do. Maybe you have identified like a rough, I don't want to use the word slum, but then I think I've already used it somewhere around certain part of the state. And and you felt okay that the area boys here can be properly housed. There's something that can be done. You can do affordable homes, and you realize that government can give you some kind of land there. You seek to profile a solution to a statewide issue that you see. And the government can then say, okay, on that table, I will then also step in. I will not just give you land, I can also subsidize this further by providing infrastructure. Which is, something that they can do, just authorize the Minister of Works to go ahead and go and do it. So approaching PPP, every party must then, if you want to involve financiers like us, then we must see what your case study is, what the argument is, and then we know how then to raise instruments appropriate to addressing that, and that can also appeal to government finances, participating structure. So once we have the three parties, we are home and dry.
PPP is actually a very good way to deliver value to people. I've been involved in several of them, and it varies. And it works. I'm currently involved with one with Lagos State. I've worked with Federal Mortgage, FHA. And I work with some state government. I work with Ondo state government on one. And the state government says, look, we don't want people to pay more than 5 million for this. When we sat down on it, I said, look, how do we do it? If we are going to get to that level, then provide the land free, provide infrastructure. And the government said, we will do all that. Just give us the house. And it was successful, and the people were happy. The price was moderated, as well as we have standard infrastructure within the state. And that's very good. The government at that time was very happy with it. And the people that occupied the state were actually very happy. So there are various forms, it depends. In Abuja, you have the land, mass housing one. You see the public-private one. But essentially, what it does is that they have land. They don't have money to approach it. So they see that people are living on the land. Part of what you need to do is to pay the compensation for the land. You pay the compensation, you take the infrastructure there, and you build the houses. And the type
maybe I should just quickly clarify, if you have contributed to the National Housing Fund and you are no longer in service, you are entitled to your money. That contribution actually is a national savings. And that's why you were given a passbook and a contribution number. I'm not holding forth for Federal Mortgage Bank, but I know this is what they do. So what you do is please locate any of their offices nearest to you and come there with your card and evidence that you are no longer in service, like your retirement notice or letter, and then they will run you through their process. I think within maybe 2 to 3 months, you get your money back. No. My dad, when he retired some years back, he doubted it too until I enlightened him. I encouraged him to go, approach them. He approached them, but the truth is, sometimes you feel you've contributed a whole lot. When he went there and they gave him his refund, it was 1,050,000. I can't forget that. But it was something else. It was something for him at that time. So please, you can approach Federal Mortgage Bank. To some persons, it could be 200,000. To some persons, it could be 300,000. He retired at a very, very senior level, and that's what he got. So you can then imagine a retired PAMSEC retrieving 1 million. So you can then imagine. So that's what it is. But you can approach them. You can have access to your reform. There's a department the Federal Mortgage Bank called NHF Reform, and they actually carry out the reform.
Okay, thank you very much. So the last question says, and I think this has been touched on before. It says, how can developers access construction finance through mortgage bonds? And I think this is also in the same light around the question of long-term funds available in mortgage bonds. So how do developers get funds? I think it is important to, or some of the people want to take it for okay, so I think that for supply side transactions, okay, supply side meaning the developer who is doing development. I think these are transactions really for commercial banks or in their development finance institutions, because really for mortgage banks, I think the regulation of mortgage banks is such that you cannot fund the construction above certain threshold, above certain threshold of your balance sheet.
Not more than 25% of your total share capital.
I'm not in the CBN allowing that at all.
No, of course, yeah. You are allowed to finance construction, but not more than 25% of your total your total mortgage portfolio. 25% of it should be within the construction financing rate. Then the residential mortgage, you are expected to do like 70%. So the truth is, our inclination is more towards residential mortgage. But there, just like Mr. Fatimile said, is where affordability is also not available. You know, so as much as you are tilted towards greater mortgage, people can afford it because the interest rate that is available currently, apart from the National Housing Fund that is being administered at 6%, is somewhere around 20-something% for a 10 to 15 year mortgage. So it's a bit of some challenge. I mean, even in Lagos, it's only some of the big boys in there that can actually access such mortgages, you know. So, I mean, that's the limitation. But as much as we can, and we do that. But the problem is this: if developers also, there's a problem we have also noticed from the supply side, sir, that even in trying to create, because it's a short-term loan, so I can decide to play with funds and I still remain within regulatory framework and limitations within a year. If I give you construction finance within a year and you deliver quickly and come back, it's fine. But we see a situation whereby attitude and integrity also plays a major role in making these funds available. So you give a developer funds to go and develop certain property. The developer just go to Dubai first to go and enjoy. And then from Dubai, the next thing is back to Italy. And they say my boys are doing the work. And he's supposed to turn around this money within 12 months, come back for us to, flip it into residential mortgages. That way you see that we can quickly recycle the money. But you now see a situation where, like Mr. Fatimile has said, that he has said, these funds remains in the hand of a certain developer for over 2 to 3 years. The project sometimes gets stopped as a result of cost overrun. And because there's a cost overrun, even the interest keeps accumulating. It messes up my book. The project gets stopped. The end buyers don't get a completed project to beat their chest to say they want to take a mortgage. Everything is muddled up, and that is where we are. So the attitude of the developers is also not helping matters a whole lot.
Okay, thank you very much, panelists. I think that my question at the beginning of this panel was, is mortgage a reality? And it's important to look at all at the right challenges and also at the right solutions in terms of how this can happen. But there are always alternatives, okay? I asked that question thinking whether, maybe because we call it mortgage. Okay, if you drive down Lekki and Bay Expressway, you see billboards of developers offering pay 10%, over 2 to 3 years, pay and complete your house. Maybe we should be talking about housing credit or home credit. Is there a way technology can enhance that kind of transaction? It's already happened. There are a lot of informal transactions where people invest. I think what also needs to happen is, for those of us who are entrepreneurs or who are tech-savvy people, is begin to see how you can formalize some of those informations. There are opportunities in the market. We knew how Paystack and Flutterwave and all of that came to the banking transaction space that we now call fintech. So I think that a lot of challenges that happens can be dealt with. And in my presentation, I'm going to try and just shed light on how technology is helping to resolve.
And I do believe we have a lot. I know a few people that the houses are locked up. In prime locations, we're talking Ikoyi, we're talking GRA, Ikeja, locked. Nobody living there. They probably stay there maximum of 1 month in a year when you come around or when somebody is around. But the question, I don't see how the panel could have answered the question if not just lament the challenge of underutilization of houses, because what would they say? Because the question was, what's the implication of the economic development when houses are being underutilized? It ties registration process for land seamless. I think that's something that will be answered by the PS for lands in Lagos State. They are promised, we are waiting for them to deliver. It's state by state, not single government. And the bank puts in a bit of I'm grateful to God that I've discovered my other talents. And one of that is to ensure that you have a very good time at the event. I felt so, like I felt like I should come here and grab to stand up. Like, that is why there's music here. There's a lot of stress in Nigeria. You know, you go back now into traffic. It's going to be an eventful day, but you are here, and they give you a little internet to just shake body, and everybody just sat down on their phone. That phone is not rolling again. Just, you know, they just stood up and just shake. Who knows? Just got some things on the dance floor. But this event is not about us dancing. It's about us getting to know more about the agricultural and real estate investment opportunities. And I got a quote yesterday from someone. He said that investment is a deliberate act. A deliberate act of finding, spotting opportunities. That's what investment is. And every one of you here, I want to celebrate you all for investing your time in training your eyes to spot opportunities, because that's what you've done here. You have fine-tuned yourself. I'm sure from the panel sessions you will get ideas that can become business projects for everyone as they grab it. The next session, I would like to bring in Mr. Rotimi. He wants to give a personal touch to the introduction. He's been doing this thing. You know, when you are very, very involved in the entirety of every project, everybody that is on this stage has a personal relationship, one way or the other. There was a reason, and he wants to personalize that introduction. So I'll be bringing him on to introduce our next speaker, which the speakers in conversation will give birth to the next panel. So trust me, you're going to be having a very informative session.
Permits me to give a little intro to this before we bring our guest to speak. So at Asset Rise, one of our core is to understand how to create solutions. And we have been able to understand this model with real estate as a driver for our solutions to solve hunger, poverty, climate change, and whatever solution you can talk about. I can tell you that with real estate, we can change the fortune of Nigeria. And so real estate is not a limitation to the housing problem, like we said. Let's look at the entire value chain of real estate and see how we can solve problems. Jokingly, many of us here inherited houses from our parents. Some of us. Some of those parents who we inherited houses from, some of them were poor. But they set their way and bought properties. And because they bought properties, they brought their generations out of poverty. I can tell you that most of the houses in Oba, in Omole, in Ikorodu, they were from teachers, some poor parents of ours who care to do little contribution, cooperative, collect that money and go and use it to buy land. And how did they create that as an exit from poverty? Those land from 20 years back has appreciated into portfolios of millions. Are we speaking the truth? Yes. Where our office is presently, a plot of land there is 350 million plus. It's not on the island. I'm not if it's true. And I have a witness of people who bought that same land because it's a Lagos State application for 12,000 naira. So imagine the value of 12,000 to 350 million. Please, if your father gives you a 350 million naira property today, have you escaped poverty or not? Have you escaped poverty or not? So real estate is a catalyst for many solutions, and not just the myopic view of home ownership. It is just one of it. And that's why today we are looking at agriculture as one of those tools in real estate. And with us at Asset Rise, we started this journey with Okitipupa Oil Palm PLC. During COVID, I was back in my hometown, and I think God led me to go to my hometown. While I was in the village, I saw a lot of people coming from the farm. Most of them, palm tree farmers. And I began to ask questions. What about all this? And it changed the face of Okitipupa Oil Palm PLC. And today, that same dead Oil Palm PLC is now a multi-billion company in Ondo State, generating revenue. And that empowerment didn't stop there. This year alone, we have signed a contract of 40,000 palm tree seedlings that we are buying from them. And that's in millions of naira. Do we know palm tree seedlings? It does not require any Oyibo to plant palm tree seedlings. But as low as that palm tree seedlings is in millions of naira, he has gathered a lot of youths, created irrigation, and I can imagine when you get to where the palm tree seedlings are, you will be marveled. And right from that local government, this man is creating wealth with agriculture. We are tenants to them. We have some hectares of land that we've rented from them. And we are also milling palm oil. And this year also we have tons of storage of palm oil with them. And from that inspiration, we have created Palm Ridge Estate, which is an estate dedicated to palm tree farming. We've started this in Lagos State, and today we can boldly tell you that in Lagos State, we have the biggest oil palm tree farm. And replicating that model, I was in a meeting that one of my mentors who I'll be introducing shortly to us, the Oni of Ife and 3 powerful kings. And the Oni said, young man, you cannot have enough land to farm in Lagos State. Go to Ogun State and get more land. And that drove us to Ogun State. We secured 1,000 acres of land, and today we are creating what is called rural urbanization. And how do we mean rural urbanization? We are creating a smart economic city where people can live, like in my village in Ondo State, live in the estate, their source of income is in the estate, and they don't have business coming to stay in traffic in Lagos, earning 80,000 naira that cannot pay their house rent. We have created poverty by ourselves. Same as we are creating inflation. Nigeria does not have business with poverty and inflation. And with agriculture, we have proven that agriculture can be a vital tool, just like Mr. Goyega Fatimile has said, to solve our economic problem. It's my pleasure this afternoon to welcome to the stage the MD CEO of Okitipupa Oil Palm PLC, the person of Mr. Taiwo Adewale. Please can we give him a round of applause?
I don't have much time, but I want to speak to all of us about what I call the way forward for Nigeria. Some of us that are in this hall today, we actually have secured our passports and visas to relocate to other lands. I want to read from the scriptures. Deuteronomy 34. One to 3. And Moses went up from the plains of Moab unto the mountain of Nebo to the top of Pisgah, that is over against Jericho. And the Lord showed him all the land of Gilead unto Dan, and all Naphtali, and the land of Ephraim and Manasseh, and all the land of Judah, unto the uttermost sea. The last verse, where I'm going. And the south, and the plain of the valley of Jericho, the city palm trees. Hallelujah. I'm an agronomist by training. I was one of those fortunate to benefit from free education set up by Baba Udo from the little town of Olo, State. And when I graduated, while I was growing up, I used to follow my grandmother to the farm. I would stay in the little hut. But Providence had it that I studied Agric. But when I graduated in 1990, I decided that I would have nothing to do with Agric. So I came over to Lagos after the Masters in 1994 to come and search for the greener pasture. And I struggled all over Lagos. Well, made a few money. But the time came that the story was not going to be the way it used to be. And Providence brought in a man called Arapuran, who brought in my governor of the state. By Providence, I found myself in Okitipupa Oil Palm, a company founded, registered in 1976, but it started as a project founded by Baba Ulowo in 1952. 1952 to today is 71 years old. And the first 811 hectares of land was planted with palm trees in 1952. And I'm still harvesting that palm tree today. What am I saying?
Yes, biological assets, burial plants, hectares of land. 1 hectare will take 150 pounds seedlings. Acres will take 60. And I couldn't just imagine that from way back, 1952, the only sage that I recognize in the whole of Nigeria, Baba Awolowo, could project to establish in each community hectares of land, of palms, across Ogun, Oyo, Ondo, like that. Okitipupa was badly mismanaged for several decades. But God will have it to use us as instruments to turn around the company. And that is the solution to Nigeria's problems. We must go back to the values that our parents handed over to us. And so when I got to Okitipupa, as a beneficiary of the free education, I said to myself that I will never be part of the road. So we began to look at the company to see why it failed. It got delisted from the Nigerian Stock Exchange in 2011 because of the total breakdown of governance and management. At the last count, the company had 23 bank accounts, but no cash entered the accounts. So it cannot fail. And so we began to look at the company. And one of the first things we did was to insist on a cashless policy, which I started on the first day I got to the company on April 3rd, 2018. And I can safely report that those biological assets of about 70 years old, between 50 and 70 years old, over 10,000 hectares of land, is producing unprecedented results today. We are on the verge of coming back to the Nigerian Stock Exchange. And in 2021, we were able to deliver a dividend for the first time in 27 years. I'm bringing this highlight to us to change our mindset that we can create the wealth that we're looking for here. And so there's no need to shift to other nations. And you have asked me to look at how to make things easier, more secure, and transactional. For those of you in the real estate, and for asset rise, I think we should be looking at collaboration. Get people together who can invest in 1,000 hectares of oil palm. I will speak specifically to oil palm because I know. About 3 billion human beings consume oil palm-based food across the world on a daily basis. And so, Okitipuwa does not look for customers. They look for us. And for you to appreciate what I'm talking about, from a mega revenue of 260 million that I inherited in 2018, the company generates about 2.2 billion naira today. Because we deploy a strategy that has empowered about 275 licensees today. Those licensees go into our plantations to harvest and process the fruits. So, apart from creating wealth for itself, works with at least 275 multi-millionaires today who have no business coming to Lagos. I relocated from Lagos to Okitipupa, and I come back to Lagos occasionally to play golf. My inspiration came from one encounter I had. He said one young lady who trades in oil, palm oil, borrowed them the money. Because they no longer borrow from the banks. And I said for her, honestly, it was a total reformation of my thinking. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to create wealth, move back to where you can access the land and start. The lady that borrowed the publicly quoted company money not have worked for me either at home or in my office. Here I did. But she was able to give a loan of 10 million naira. So I said to myself, why should I be in Lagos? I have no reason. The rent I pay, if I invest it in 100 acres of land, of 2,400 palm trees, at the turn of 5 years, I should not make anything less than 100. That is the truth. So, I'm not sure your coming here is just to come and listen to us, what we have experienced. I need you to experience it. The transformation that has happened in Oklahoma is phenomenal. And we are not stopping. So it doesn't make any economic sense that you reside in Lagos and you cannot pay your bills while opportunities lie unattended to. So if you are going to create estates, your funding strategy should be such that your first option is not to borrow money. In the entire transformation work that we did in Oklahoma, we didn't have to borrow. We just made ourselves accountable. So, I share with you today that all business is a long-term business. And what I've experienced is that it gives you money every 21 days. The pound, once it starts floating, you can invest every 21 days on the palm tree. So, depending on the number of palm trees you have, you can actually determine how much money you really want to make. Oketukwa is in the next 1 year, probably by the grace of God, may become the biggest agribusiness in Nigeria. It is not a wishful thinking. When we looked at the numbers, we are convinced that is the best space to operate, and from there develop other businesses along the value chain to secure the sustainability of that enterprise. There is no part of the palm tree that is not a money. Every part of it. And so, you can actually use it as a roadmap for your real estate investment. Because once you plant it, you can be guaranteed that for the next 50 to 60 years, that same fruit will continue to give you revenue. And so, what do you need to do? I cannot imagine any other business that you abandon for 27, 30 years. Come back to it, still making money. More money than I've ever made, even when it was started. And so, by building the plantations that will pay for building whatever quality of house you want to build. And I tell you, you will not need anything.
Here is how it works. Secure palm rich estate, and in just 3 years, your palm trees will start bearing fruit, bringing you a steady income from oil palm production.
loans. So are you going to call us now? Are you going to call us now? You don't have a choice. You want to jump out and go and be cleaning pool. It's total madness. I mean, you carry 10 million naira and jump out. 15, 20. Bank manager, you're not going to be cleaning pool in UK. Meanwhile, your 10, 20 million can create everlasting fortune for you in Nigeria. I think our government needs to be practical. And that's why I said, AREIN is not a place to analyze things that will work. Let's go to practical solutions. And I'm glad that the MD CEO of Oil Palm PLC, indirectly or directly, has made me a millionaire also. Yes, because when I went back to my village in COVID, with all my English from London, I had to go and learn what he has been doing. And we started trading palm oil. From trading palm oil, we launched the first Palm Ridge Estate. So with our Palm Ridge Estate projects, the model is simple, like I said, collaboration. We acquire acres of land. And acquisition of land is real estate, right? That's real estate. So like Mr. Goye Gafatule told us, we cannot do agriculture without real estate. Are you going to plant on the roof? On the water? We need land, real estate. So we acquire this land, then call to landlords. So the definition of landlord is not just owning a house. You can be a palm tree farmer landlord. And we are going to make it practical to you that you will be a richer landlord, any rental income from palm tree farming than building mansion. Practical solution. I was explaining to the director yesterday, we were on a trip to Alaro City, one of the projects they were kickstarting with Alaro City. So I went there with the director last month, and I was telling her, "Ma'am, we create more money with palm tree farming than building houses. And it's practical. If I'm going to build a house in Ikeja, GRA, I will need an average of, I think we have, but I have seen that the Nigerian real estate is not actually driven by valuers anymore. It's driven by speculation. So, it's driven by speculation and scarcity. I don't know why a plot of land on one estate should be 350 million. Scarcity. Because if they value that place, it may not be 350 million. But if you're not going to buy, come and go. It's 350 million I'm going to sell. So now, let's see 300 million. One plot of land. If you're going to build on that one plot of land, commonly in the GRA here, we do duplexes, right? So maybe a 3-unit of 4-bedroom duplex. How much rental income are we going to get from one duplex? From one duplex, how much? Maybe 7 million per annum, right? So we are seeing an average of 21 million rental income. And for you to build that 3 units of duplex, you will have spent, last part will come and harass you. So you are talking about a 500 million investment, right? 21 million divided by 500 million. How many years are you going to wait to get your... How many years? You're going to wait. Your gray hair will come. So, rental income investment is just an ego when it comes to real investment now. Versus, so the only thing you can get within that 20 or 30 years is to walk on the street of Lagos and you're a landlord. Say, I own 3 properties in GRA. I own 1 in Ikeja. And when they ask you the actual business, so let's carry 500 million and go to my states. I'm from Okinawa. Very soon. We are, like he said, we don't need to come to Lagos. If we take a vote count here, you see less people from my community here. So many people from Oshun, right? From Ogun State. Okay. So, with 500 million, how many hectares of land are you going to buy in Okinawa? You almost buy the whole village. Now, if you you care to be able to plant at least 200 hectares. So this palm tree that we are showing you is live from Epe. Today, the surrounding estates are selling for 3.5 million. So the land is appreciating. But these trees have started fruiting. And we appreciate Okikukawa Pampiers. Please, can you help us applaud? We don't need to stress about where to get the seedlings. We simply paid them for seedlings and move our seedlings to site. And they gave us the work. 18 to 36 months, these trees will start fruiting. And we have these trees. They are less than 3 years. We planted them last year, June. And some of them are already fruiting. And to these landlords, we have told you that the best retirement income plan you can create is not your pension plan. I mean, we're going to talk about that in our business analysis and see your pension plan versus plan. And why you should not use your old age to go and queue in pension and wait tirelessly. And some people die in pension. But simple wisdom of planting your own pension with palm tree. So we have people who have planted hectares with us. And by the time these trees start fruiting, for the next 50 years, if the land remains, and which land is immovable, right? They will keep making money from oil palm tree. 21 days to be harvesting and making money. That is income. That is pension. Constant. Without carrying placard or anywhere. You don't need to carry placard to go and disturb government. And this is simple wisdom of age. So you can key into the Palm Ridge Estate projects. And with this, we have launched phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. We're in the phase 4 in Ado Water, where we have created a 1,000 acres of land that is a rural urbanization scheme with oil palm tree and agro-processing zone to enable us to bring our youth to stay in places where they can live and earn income at ease. And lastly, when we talk about mortgage, I was talking to the ED that very soon you will need to come and borrow money from me to do your mortgage. And I'll borrow it. You're my friend. Why will he need me to come and borrow money? Because I'm going to make money without sweat. How? Once this palm tree starts fruiting, in 1,000 acres, you are talking about 10 billion value. Because we are planting a very modern species. And when we generate this money, we can then do real estate without having to go and borrow money from the bank. Simple equation of real estate is solved. I don't need to borrow money from the bank to build houses. Once the palm trees are fruiting, we can create estate because we have a source. Then we have a printing press to print money. So, a problem is solved. How many problems have we solved? Retirement income, solved. Dermatitis, solved. And lastly, one of the great problems that was solved in my life was by my father. I did not know that while I was about becoming a slave in London, that my father had took care of my life. So I grew up knowing that we went to one of the best schools in Ondo State. And I schooled with doctors and lawyers in class, but I cannot introduce who my father is. When you ask me who, my father is a doctor. When it comes to me, that question is for another time. Why? Because my father was a farmer. But this man had over 100 acres of palm tree farm that he has planted. He died when I was 14, and I was still in school, secondary school, primary to secondary school. And the hope of any good education was dead, because he's the only breadwinner in the family. But 2 months after his burial, we realized that this man has left hectares of palm trees And we were all schooled without going to beg anyone for money from the proceeds of palm oil. If you want to create a trust fund for your children, oil palm tree. That is how that man solved our education. Until today, the fourth generation, we are still collecting money from oil palm tree. And those palm trees are still there doing fine. So I bring to you the reality of real estate and agriculture as a solution to most of our economic problems. So to this, I think we can dance, right? You have to have a father. It may not be your biological father, but a mentor, right? And so, my mentor just dragged me now. I mean, all these skills, all these paparazzi, we learned it from somebody. If you have been to any Adesonya's events, your life will never remain the same. And so, he's going to come and speak to us, but please, can you help me appreciate Pastor Adesanya? This is the last beg I'm begging you. If you want to subscribe to Palm Oil Family and Palm Ridge Estates, with any of our estates, we are coming to Akwa Ibom Big, in Lagos, in Ogun State. If you want to subscribe, hit any of our desks, you get the forms, and some of our realtors, our MDs are here. They will move around the forms. You can subscribe right now.
Somebody did not get the time. Okay, because we want to take your time into cognizance, we are going to be collapsing the two panels that were supposed to do separately into one. Many of you came very early. Thankfully, we have food. We have food. I'm going to go and transcribe it. I did this, but to be honest, today is Thursday. It's too close to Wednesday for me to lie. So I just took a little bit. and I can assure you that it is good. And in a short while, we will all eat. But for now, we're going to be bringing in the people that will be on the panel. As our former speaker was talking about the FUPA, and I remember that before they separated Ekiti from Ondo State, my mommy was in the Ondo State now. We have oil. We have to maybe we find out how to go back. Then I started thinking, true, my husband is from Edo. Edo too, they have their own too now. They too, they have oil. Long and short. Many of us are going to be relocated out of Lagos after this. We are going to go and discover what the monies that people have abandoned in their villages. But one thing I'll say is don't go without guidance. If you listen to Mr. Rosen, he said he went to learn. And that's something many Nigerians miss out on. We do follow and we jump. Without guidance, without advice, without a mentor, without coaching, without checks and balance. And we make many people lose their money and lose trust in the system that works and system that can work. So please don't learn completely. In our next session, we'll be talking about agro real estate in Nigeria. We'll also be bringing up the sessions to talk about real estate investment and control. Now, these are both very important because in the space of agro real estate, everybody jumped into come and plant yam, come and buy chicken, come and do all of that in 2020, 2021. And we saw what happened in 2022. Many defaulters, people couldn't pay. Some of them were not scammers. Some of them just did not understand the industry they were going into. I know someone that went into people and sold things thinking they would make money. And there was a swine flu or something, like over 100 kids died. And the insurance people said that they didn't insure against that particular one. So that was how a lot of money went away. So we're going to be talking about how there can be controls with real estate investment so that we are not closing our eyes to amazing opportunities to profit. I'll be bringing in our panelists. The first person I'll be bringing in, I've already spoken before. I can't see Mr. Ngozi here. Somehow, Mr. Ngozi is meant to be on this panel. Is he still around or is he stepped out? He's around. Can you help us get him? Help us get Mr. Ngozi as well as help us get the Mr. Dr. Roland. Roland is also meant to be on this panel. Dr. Roland, Mr. Ngozi. We're going to be bringing in those that are available, and I'm sure they are probably outside granting interviews. So, can we have Mr. Taiwo Adewale join us, sir? He's a problem solver and we're proud of what he's doing. Can we bring Mr. Adedomi? And we clap at Mr. Adedomi. Adedomi takes the stage as well. There's a particular person I'm supposed to. Adediwura Ademayowa. We also have Adebisi Ikuobola. Find Mr. Roland Denoba. Mr. Roland Denoba is not here. But I can see Mr. Ezekiel Sodisi. While we're waiting, can we have Mr. Rotimi also join? I want him on stage. He's a player in the agro real estate industry. It's important that we get his perspective as well. I hope you have been getting the forms and subscribing to the Pound Rich Estates. If you would like to get the form, you just beckon on one of the ladies. And we're still expecting Mr. Roland, and I can't see him yet. Dr. Roland is somewhere. It's also not off. Oh, okay. So, I'm sure that when it comes back, and there's also the fear of how to do it right. So my question will be that, what are people missing in the space of agro real estate, and how can we take advantage of agro real estate? I think that's the most appropriate question to start with, because I'm assuming everybody already knows, because everybody has been hearing about it over and over again. But What are the things that we're overlooking and how best can we take advantage of it? I know that the natural person I would want to call is Mr. Rotimi, but Mr. Rotimi, who else do you think I can defer to start this conversation? Sterling Bank. Okay, interesting. I would rephrase that question a bit for Sterling Bank. Because you being the GM of AREIN desk, I will be asking in a different way. And funny enough, I got a phone call from someone from, I operate a Sterling Bank account, and they were reaching out to me for the women account. Obviously, with the grey hair, I was out of age bracket for it, but they were asking that there is a banking finance solution for women in AREIN. So there are lots of banks putting attention towards AREIN. And can you tell us why you're doing that and what are the opportunities available within AREIN real estate space?
Okay, thank you very much for giving us this opportunity. My name is Adedoyin Adegoju. I work with the Agri-Finance Desk, Sterling Bank, going to Okitipupa to understudy and learn, right? Agri-business is science before business. I think we all need to understand that. And that's why most people, they really do not get it right. So the moment you understand that this is science, and there are some expectations when you're discussing science, there are some things you need to learn, there are some things you need to understand before you go into the nitty-gritty of that space, you will not struggle. So that's why you see a lot of businesses, in quote, not succeeding just because they don't really understand the science of agri, right? So I just need to put that into perspective before we go deep dive into the conversation. So back to what she has asked. The current president of African Development Bank, Akinwumi, said something around the youth in Nigeria. We need to prioritize them, right? If we want to secure food in Nigeria, because it's a national concern. Food security is a national concern. All our fathers, they are aging, right? They are beginning to say, it's time for you to take over. I can't continue anymore. So we in Sterling Bank, we've realized that, and we have started collaborating. The MD said something, the MD of Okutupalekwan said something when he was presenting. The solution is collaboration, and that is why we in Sterling Bank have reached out. We have a collaboration with Mastercard Foundation, where we have put together some funds, more like a development finance arrangement, where we say we will support youth and women in this country, irrespective of the value chain you participate, whether it's in the poultry value chain, whether it's in the processing value chain, irrespective of the value chain, we will support your business as long as it is viable and it is bankable. And we put some funds with as a matter of fact, in Sterling Bank, we prioritize agriculture, right? We went into specialization of our businesses sometimes 4 or 5 years ago, where we said we will focus our attention on HATS. HATS being an acronym for health, education, agriculture, renewable energy, and transport. Agriculture being at the center of it all. And that's why in the bank today, we have set aside 15% of our loan portfolio dedicated for agriculture. And in so doing, we've moved a step ahead by collaborating with some development finance institutions to create impact in that sector. And that is what gave birth to the collaboration we have with Mastercard Foundation. So we have some low-cost funds. You know, everybody will want to run away from commercial banks and say, 23%, 27%, 28%, it's killing. What business would I do that will give me a return that will take care of this so-called interest expense, right? But what we have done is we understand that if you want to succeed in agri, finance is very, very key. So I'm speaking about finance, I'm also speaking about the category of people that we will be supporting. I can't be giving my money to a 60-year-old man or a 70-year-old man, right? I want to encourage the youth to participate in this journey with us. It is very, very important that we tackle this issue head on. There are a whole lot of challenges in the agri space. I agree that before you talk about agriculture, you need to talk about real estate. Clearly, no doubt. But you need to understand the business of agriculture and the science of agriculture so that you can make the best out of it. So, and finance is one of those challenges. As a matter of fact, there is nobody that will be talking about agriculture and will talk about finance, right? So, and we realize that affordable finance is very key to a successful agri-venture, right? So, what we have done is we've earmarked some funds in partnership with some development finance institution at a maximum of 9% all in, though dedicated to youth and women in agriculture, right? And so that's the passion we have. We want to create impact. We don't just want to make money. We know we'll make money at the end of the day, but creating impact is very, 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 very important to us to Telecom. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I'll disagree small because you removed me from the age bracket necessary. And I'm still very, very young. And by the time we went into the documentation, it was, I can't access that particular one. I'm sure there'll be other opportunities, but young people, maybe we should increase the benchmark for young people to like 55. Maybe that way we will capture more young people, but I'll just call it your next level. It's a good thing. We also have another agency that seeks to funding for agriculture, NISAL. And I would like us to have that conversation because there are many people that would like to explore the agri option within Nigeria right now, but are confused about how to do it. And there's an assumption that you need to be connected, that it is who you know for you to enjoy any advantage from the government's parastatal. I'll like you to take that question, sir, concerning how can Nigerians access the advantage of NISAL? What are the opportunities that NISAL presents to the people listening now and interested in agri-real estate?
Thank you very much. My name once again is Adela Joseph from NISAL Microfinance Bank. We're not new in the market. NISAL has been in existence since 2019, and in Lagos State alone, we've been able to disburse well over 10 billion in agri and agri-processing businesses. For some of us who have relatives or family members who are beneficiaries of target credit facility called COVID-19 loan, we were the one behind it, and a lot of people are coming to our offices to come and, pay. The product I like to, because of the tune and the way this discussion is going, I will introduce us to just one product that I feel will be beneficial to everybody, and that is Agri Credit Guarantee Scheme Fund. We call it ACGSF. Agri Credit Guarantee Scheme Fund is actually a product of Development Finance Office of the Central Bank of Nigeria. It has been in existence since 1977, but there has not been enough information out there as to how it works. Because we have relationship with the Central Bank of Nigeria, that is why we are helping the government and the Central Bank to administer it. The way it works is that it's a facility that as a single individual, you can, access up to 1 million naira if you don't have a registered business. But if you have a registered business, the single obligor limit is 50 million. That is for a registered company. And it is payable within 12 months. There is going to be equity contribution of 25%. That is to ensure that there is enough seriousness on the part of the beneficiary. Also, the balance of the 75% is going to be guaranteed by the Central Bank of Nigeria. So what is done is that it covers all agri businesses, whether you are into, like we'll be talking about palm oil, palm tree, you talk about people who are into fishery, people who are into poultry, and the rest of it. Now, there is a moratorium on that loan. Why there is moratorium is that we have the belief that between the time the poultry farm, farmer starts doing the poultry business to the time of selling whatever the product is, he will not be able to gather enough money to be able to pay back. So we look at the specific industry and see when the gestation period will happen. That is when the farmer will start paying back. Now, there is an advantage in this product, which I think everybody should look at, and that is what we call interest drawback. That is IDP. Interest drawback means that if a farmer is able to pay back that loan without any default within a period of tenure, the Central Bank of Nigeria is going to refund all the interest on that loan back to the person. What I mean by that is this: when you don't default, even for 1 month in repaying, you will apply for interest drawback on that loan and it will be given back to you. The cost of fund on that loan is 26%. Now, we have processing fee of 1%, legal fee of 1%, baby. The legal fee and the processing fee are actually, one-off. It is the interest of 26% that is annualized. So, it's a product that I think those who are into agri, especially those who are already, that are not startup, who want to expand, who want to scale, it is something I think they can actually take advantage of. And let me quickly say this, please. For the women among us who are, women that are organized, they have their own cooperative society or association, or they are trying to come up with a women group. We also have what we call Amazon loan. Now, the beauty of it is that because we are gender sensitive, the interest rate on women loan is different from what we give to others. For instance, if we have a group of women, you mustn't be more than 10 in a group, and a minimum of 5. Now, when you come together, you mustn't be doing the same line, you mustn't be in the same line of business. You can be doing any kind of business. When you come together, when you approach us, what we are going to do is that we ask you to cross-guarantee each other. That is, you guarantee one another. Then, apart from that, you get us an independent guarantor. That is the collateral on your loan. From 100,000 to 1 million naira can be given to you without asking you for any collateral.
We're going to step out away from agri-real estate a bit and talk about real estate investing and how to secure those investments. I would use this to bring in Mr. Ezekiel, because I know you consult for many companies outside, you do strategy for them. You've seen businesses fail in delivering their promises, and you're working with your own groups of businesses not to fail in delivering their promises. I am sure that everybody watching right now will be worried about investing into a real estate investment or agri investment. What are the things that causes failure and how do we prevent them? And we'll have to time the response to be short. So you have to go.
So what are the things that causes investments to fail? In 2020, we had a lot of idle capital in Nigeria, because people couldn't go anywhere. And so a lot of businesses, particularly real estate companies, started to offer investment opportunities. And so one of the things that I say is, if you are going to invest your money in this, one of the first things you must check is the credibility of the company. You want to check their track record. But more importantly, you want to have a discussion with somebody in management such that you want to see that they understand that they are in a different business now. Because what happened is that some businesses started offering investment and they didn't realize that their model just changed from selling land to becoming an investment company. and they didn't understand that they were in a completely different business. I mean, an example, I work with a particular real estate company, and they're doing pretty well, and they invited me to the board, sitting at the board meeting, and the accountant comes up, they've done 6 billion that year. Now, I knew that most of their revenue had come from investments, so the accountant comes up and he says, our revenue in the last year was 6 billion, and I was confused. I thought that somebody else would pick it up, but nobody did in the entire board meeting. After the meeting, I called the CEO, I said, I hope you know that the money that came from the investment is debt, not revenue. And I saw in his eyes that was the first time he realized it. So you need to be sure that the people you're investing your money in understand that real estate and real estate investing operate in 2 different industries. So if they don't know, they could, because people can be honest and honestly wrong. People can have very high integrity and make wrong moves. So you need to be sure that, one, they are honest people, but more importantly, they understand the business that they are in. So that a very honest man doesn't become your enemy because he doesn't understand the business that he's in.
Just so that we are sure about the agronomy. But I'll bring that question, changing that question a bit, or talking about the banking perspective. I haven't asked any question. I haven't gotten any question from someone that I feel should be able to talk about this, Mr. Adewale. And the reason is, you've been in this business for many years, but you didn't do investment. Would you be able to answer why investment is seen as an option now, and why people didn't consider it then, and how people can take advantage of it now?
Amount of information that's available to people is very limited, and you really cannot make any investment decisions if you don't have correct information. And so I think information is key. Basically, having the right information to be able to, because what you need to start is really not much. Right. But a lot of us are taking, we look at the outward appearance, not really knowing that it's a big hole. But agriculture, for me, is a roadmap.
We are talking about real estate, and in between the conversation of agri and the conversation of real estate, we had Mr. Wade who said that there cannot be agriculture without real estate. And really, real estate thrives off human beings, and you really can't have human beings if you don't have food to eat. So at the end of the day, it's a chicken and egg situation. How would you advise people that are thinking of playing in this industry? They cannot become farmers. Everybody here cannot farm, go to the village to do a farm, and they are looking for a safe way to partner. How would you advise them go about it?
Came up and was giving us a testimony of how he was able to bank that company. I said to myself, wow, this is an eye-opener for me. I see that as an audacity of hope, and I see that as a triumph of faith over despondency. For me, I would like to steer that conversation in 3 ways. One, from this sovereign level, then from the national level, and from the micro level. One, we have what we call African Capacity Risk, which is a specialized agency of African Union. And that provided a platform through which a vulnerable population within the African continent can actually receive a form of compensation in terms of losses able to agricultural outputs. The first tranche of payment was made to about 5 countries, I think Senegal, Mauritania, Kenya, Niger, appreciable level. So they're able to give comfort to some of those smallholders, farmers. Then coming to the national level, in 1978, for example, the federal government set up what we call National Insurance Scheme to provide a framework through which farmers, smallholder farmers can actually access facilities from financial institution. On the heels of that, they also, I think 1993, they sort of what we call NAIC, Nigerian Agricultural Insurance Company, to provide a platform where farmers can come up, can be protected, and in event of any losses, a minimum of compensation to be payable to them, which is as a subsidized premium. So at the micro level, the regulator was able to unbundle the setting to give licenses to other private sector operators to underwrite agricultural insurance. And we have various policies in place within the market. We have the indemnity-based policy, like the multi-peril crop insurance. We have the poultry insurance. We have the livestock insurance and fishery insurance, as the case may be. Then we also have other policies in place, like the area yield insurance, weather-based insurance, and index-based insurance. So all of these policies are meant to ensure that minimum compensation is made payable to the smallholder farmers that are exposed to some of these losses. So insurance companies are actually there to deploy these solutions to meet the needs of those customers. Good enough, we have National here under the platform of CBN. They were able to advance some facilities. You did mention that to some of these farmers to ensure that they're able to meet some of these, mitigate some of these losses. So insurance is also there to ensure that they put the stopgap measure in place.
Investors who are worried about how safe that investment is, and it will be a reminder to some people who are already venturing in that have not considered those well. You look like you're curious about something. No, just listen. Yes. And the reason I'm looking at you is because when we talk about funding agriculture and we're talking about people here are in the perspective of I want to invest into agriculture. Some people have heard things like bank guarantee. How am I sure that can we get our banking sector to give bank guarantee to investments, agreed real estate investment companies, so that if anything happens, because we have done the due diligence check, that they have insurance covered, they have the agricultural parts agronomy covered, then we can ensure their investment to be sure that anybody that puts their money with them is safe. Is that an option that can come up?
Simplify this, right? Let's not deceive ourselves. Agribusiness is a risky business, right? So, and that's why it's either the higher the risk, the higher the return, or the lower the risk, the lower the return. But what we have done over years in the banking system or the insurance system is to see how to de-risk, how we reduce the possible financial losses that you incur in the process of probably investing in such ventures or businesses. So, for us, let me give an instance. In the poultry industry, which is today, the broiler industry, we consume, the demand for broiler meat in Nigeria today is in excess of 1.4 million tons. But what is being churned out by the various farmers is less than 500,000 metric tons of poultry. So what does that tell you? There is a gap, right? How do we fill this gap? That means somebody needs to either go and import, or some people will go the route of, what do they call it? Smuggling and bring the stuff in, right? But that's, for me, that's an opportunity for you or for us to make a lot of money. CBN said in 2021, the poultry industry is a 1.6 trillion naira industry and it's still growing, right? So there are opportunities there. But in that opportunity, there are challenges, huge challenges. And that's why the banks that are providing financing in those environments are also saying they're looking for ways to mitigate those challenges by collaborating with the insurance team. Yeah, I'm sure there are a lot of products that they have put in place to mitigate the challenges of probably loss of birds that you might suffer it's interesting to know that within 8 weeks, a broiler cycle is completed, and you have put meat on the table of people out there. But guess what? What you need to go through within that 8 weeks can make you lose a lot of money or can make you make a lot of money. It depends on the level of information you have, just like what you said earlier. So it is very, very critical for us in the banking system. We have put some measures in place to mitigate some of this risk. One, for instance, we have a product that is targeted at people that are ready to invest in the poultry system. We have products for people that are also interested in the oil palm. We have a product irrespective of the value chain that you want to play in, whether it's in the upstream where you do the real production, whether it's in the processing, or whether it's in the trading. We have dedicated, well-thought, tailor-made product programs that are designed. So we don't need to start, if you have your request, we don't need to start going to our management and be seeking approval for yes, on a case-by-case basis. No, we already thought through this and we have those products available, especially for those that are in the processing space or, better still, the trading space. We have dedicated products, though commercially priced interest rates, depending on your capacity, depending on your risk profile, will determine the kind of interest rate that you get at the end of the day. But the bottom line of what I'm trying to say here is this. For us in the banking space, we believe there are opportunities out there in the agribusiness space, especially in the processing and trading space. Primary production is a bit risky, and I'm sure we all allude to that. But despite that, we have our partners here in NISA that have been doing a wonderful job when it comes to de-risking, providing guarantees for agri loans. So they might not necessarily be the one to provide the direct lending. We will provide the direct lending where they will provide some form of guarantee. They can guarantee up to 75% through their partnership with CBN for these funds. So what I'm just trying to say here is, despite the risky nature of agribusiness, we are still playing so well in this space. There are opportunities in this space, though there are some regulations around some of this value chain. But it is also good for you to understand those regulations, because it has, when I say regulation, I mean government's position as regards some value chain, right? For instance, I know that if you're into feed production, feed processing, you need some level of certification, because whatever you are producing is going to be consumed by some animals, and the health of those animals or whatever they consume is very key to the government. So they will need to come in and say, you need to. So all this information is very key for you to understand, and we also prioritize that whenever we are reviewing any request that comes to our table. So for us, we have dedicated products for any opportunity that you have identified. I happen to have reviewed a whole lot of requests from the agri space, and it is interesting to see that people are doing a lot in this country when it comes to agribusiness, a lot, especially when it comes to processing, aggregation. For instance, in the aggregation space, the northern business are doing a lot when it comes to the northern part of the country. They are doing a lot when it comes to agriculture, aggregation of rice paddy, aggregation of maize, aggregation of soya, a lot. And interestingly, we are going into the season. In the next 1 or 2, 3 weeks, the season will start to see a lot of activity going in that space. But what we have done as a bank is we have, over the years, realized that there is a need for us to anticipate what
manage that business. That is the important part. Not, I like him, I like her. I know him, I know her. The person has the knowledge. They have acquired the education needed to run that business. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much. It's been a wonderful presentation from our panelists. I want to be able to marry everything I've learned from our panelists into some of the solutions that we are creating. So, number one, collaboration. The agri people, the real estate people mentioned collaboration. For us to scale in any industry, we need wide collaboration. And the technicality of collaboration brings a lot of safety. So let's take the airline industry, for example, the aviation industry. Flying is the most riskiest thing. I mean, the most scariest thing. Whenever I'm about to fly, that's when my born again goes to 100%.
You're not alone.
And I know I'm not alone. Thank you, sir. I mean, you are ever born again when you are 32,000 above the ground. Anything happens, you are over. So can you, because of the risk, stop flying? Then you will spend 13 hours to get to Akwa Ibom. And know that kidnapping is more riskier than flying. Because you go by road, you can be lost. So the risk is not a problem, it's the solution we are creating. And that's why the aviation industry is one of the most collaborated industries. IATA, all kind of collaboration to bring safety to flying. And I believe we can bring that to real estate and agriculture. So, in terms of collaboration and our solution, from the Palm Ridge Estate, we don't have the knowledge to pilot this project at the scale. So we ran to Power Palm PLC. And now we are riding on their glory. We needed to do yam farming in large scale. Today, we are boldly and proudly saying we have the biggest yam farm in Lagos State, planted with 1 million tubers of yam. And we planted 36,000 tubers for Tope in our own land. And by November, December, we're going to be harvesting over 1 million tubers of yam in Lagos State. But we don't have the skill to do that. What we needed to do was to run to RITA. RITA is a big institution set up for such technicality. And we brought in their experts, they tested the soil, advised us on the species of plant, supervised the project, and that project is delivered. That is how collaboration works. I don't need to go and learn farming for me to invest in farming. The question is, do I have the right collaboration to do the investment? And when we talk about financing, in a better way, we have been able to dodge taking loans from the bank. One of our banks, Zenith, gave us a loan of 50 million, I think, last year. And after 2 months, I was not comfortable. I returned their money to them. Because the terms are good, but we don't need a loan. We created strategies to solve money, just like Mr. Taiwo said. So we identify large expanse of land, we buy, and we sell. Most of the persons sitting here are landlords in Palm Ridge Estate or in the Ekoyabs project. They own lands. And now we are now pitching to them that your land can earn you passive income. So release your land to us, let us farm on it. Let's talk about the risk. If you come to the risk in real estate part, they own the land, they have the documents of their land with them. So if the yam does not produce, their land is still there. If the palm tree does not go ahead, their land is still appreciating in value. So we understand a bit of how to collaborate with even the crowd and the risk in terms of going to NISA or going to Sterling to collect money at a higher interest. But their money is good anyways. They are going to give us a single digit loan. So they risk it. And we also started the Palm Fortune City in Goldwater, which is the 1,000 acres land. And the truth is, I don't have zero skill to power 1,000 acres of land. So kudos to Dr. Ronald Ibinova. He piloted that team to Korea, and in Korea, our head was blown off with how the government of Korea built 1 million skyscrapers in 9 years. Not 1,000. In a new city. And our government will speak English when it comes to housing. I'm sorry, but a lot of the government schemes don't work. NISA is sitting beside me. I have once approached NISA when we started. We registered 300 farmers in Ondo State. I approached NISA they frustrated the process with a lot of things. I'm not saying him nicer, but I'm making nicer. So, but today we are doing palm oil without going to nicer collaboration. And so we went back to our old daughter where we needed to do 1,000 acres and we created a better collaboration. We sold the land. And so, okay, how do we power our Agro Boulevard? We have a district in Ado Daughter project that is called Agro Boulevard. The Agro Boulevard is meant to bring together our landlords who are interested in farming, then they can state the areas of farming. So there is the livestock area, the vegetable area, the staple crops area, and then we run to Funab. Then we had a meeting in Funab, their VC, and all the audience we could have. I said, we want to do this thing, but we know you are an institution that can give us the technical support to achieve it. And today we have an MOU that Funab is going to give us the technical support to make sure Palm Fortune comes to place. Wow. And with Palm Fortune coming to place, it means we can provide chicken by the supervision of their technical partners of Funab. So all that we have done in real estate, and we think and work by de-risking real estate, is creating a formidable team, formidable collaboration. Lastly, the government needs to spearhead that collaboration. Most times, what we need is not money. What we need is the solution to make it work. Because when you give money to someone who does not have the knowledge to do something, the money is gone. So, and we end up chasing loans that are not going to be repayable. Because the technicality to drive it is not in place. We are saying to our people here who are going to partner with Asset Rise to achieve Palm Fortune City, either the Agro Boulevard District or the Palm Ridge District, that we have also brought this whole thing, NISA, Sterling Bank, Funab, the Ministry of Agriculture. I mean, Pastor Lee is here to give you adrenaline. Courage to go ahead and drink what I can drink. And we are going to achieve Palm Fortune City.
But I partnered right, I had conversation with someone, David Ashoba, to get land to do palm, because I wanted the land to be cheap. And I don't have to be the one to do that. I'm partnering with the person. I think it's important that people don't get knowledge, but also seek partnerships. And I'm happy that everybody here is already here because they understand the power of knowledge and understand the power of the right partnerships. We have a few questions that I don't even see how we're going to run through it because we've already dealt with a whole lot. And the people were paying attention, they have gotten all they need to make today a value deal. Like, the time you have invested here, today can make the rest of your year. You just make the right decision based on what you've learned today. Just on the side note, we are doing cucumber on our land. The farmer came, someone was like, madam, my father used to do cucumber. This land is so good for cucumber. In between this, your yams, let me plant cucumber. I said, can you guarantee we can sell it? I started, don't worry. I said, okay, let's do cucumber. Anything that is going to bring money, we collaborate, even the knowledge of people on ground to bring in the money. But we have a few questions, and it is tilting more towards money. Accessing the loans from the bank, and why are there age limitations? I have questions from 3 people saying the same thing in different ways. Why would you be willing to give loans to young people who are not experienced or consistent, and unwilling to give to the older people who have experience, have been doing it for years? That is a question, one of the questions we have here.
Life expectancy.
Life expectancy. It's okay. What is it? Okay, so you already said that it is to encourage the young guys to come up. It has been answered. But we shouldn't let the old people give up. Don't lose the old men before they die. And the old women before they die.
So the idea is you will agree with me today that even the old are begging the youth, please, come around, let's do this stuff together. They are begging them. I I can cite examples, right? I have a family friend, the dad is in his 70s. He has over 100 hectares of land in my hometown, Ondo State. To be precise, right? Yes. Right? And the son is doing so well in Lagos. And he's saying, I cannot allow this to just, and the guy is not just interested. And it's not because there's this thing about agriculture and youth. They say agriculture, I'd rather go and do music or I'll go and do, or, you know. But then, I want to take a cue from what the MD said. If we want to get it right in this country, the Japatitis that you mentioned, the wealth of this economy is in it. We have a product that is 9%, 18 to 35. But guess what? If you open a business and you have a son or a daughter in that age, encourage the person to come on board, and the person will be recognized as an owner of that business and can participate in this. You know what? If we've not given up to 30% of this money, and by 2024 or 2025, we will return it back to the owners. And who is losing? We are the one losing.
But sir, it's taking 3 months to apply for it. We are on the matter.
So do me a favor. I don't know why it is taking 3 months, but I sit on that desk, and I can assure you, I can exchange my contact with you. And as many as are interested in this product, you can always, I'll share my contact with you, and I also share the contact of the dedicated team that handles this product. It's a fantastic product. It solves the problem of finance when it comes to the solution you're talking about in that model you described, right? So I don't want to go into, because of our time, I don't want to go into the details of the product, but all I can say is it is targeted at, when COVID started, that was when we started this product, and it was because of the issues that COVID brought that we said the people that will be impacted the most with COVID are the youths, the people that have started, the entrepreneurs that have started business in the agri space and are struggling, because we know what finance means in the agri space.
You know what we're going to do? Because we're going to continue online, and we'll bring you in. You see, the thing I'm saying is I hate the fact that I'm having to cut you, but I can sense you're very passionate about getting agri funds into the hands of those who need it. So the right people. So we will be continuing. He's also very passionate about it. I have robbed, because there is money inside. I'm not denying that. My own is wealth creation. But because in creating genuine wealth, you need to solve problems. And so I've seen the problem, I've seen wealth creation. I have partnered appropriately, and I would love he's going to share the details of how people can get more information on how to benefit from this. There's one more question that I have to take before we go. It's been the last question for this panel. The question is going to NISA. One house, thank you. It's going to NISA, and it is saying that 12-month loan, even with giving loans with 12-month moratorium can't work on farm because of the timeline you need to wait before you are able to get the efforts will take a while. Somebody else is asking you that all these investments are taking too long. Nigerians, there's a book I just finished reading, Late Bloomers. It's a very, very powerful book that we should encourage our young people to read, because we are in a hurry. This question reflects it. Beyond medium-term and long-term loans, can we have short-term loans? The one that you can get in 1 year, one house, that earning income in 1 month cycle. I read it and I'm like, let's be realistic. But the person offered advice of trading in the palm oil. So you don't want to farm, but you want to trade. That will make the palm oil more expensive, because the next people for the own profits. It's speculating. It's one of the problems in the real estate industry right now. People don't want to deal in the real estate business. They want to speculate in the real estate business. They want to buy a land for 1 million naira and in 6 months sell it for 2 million naira. Who is going to buy it at 2 million naira when there's no value addition?
Okay, thank you very much. Concerning the tenure of 12 months, and there are some, family businesses that are not, you can't realize the money within 12 months. What I've been able to do this afternoon is to just give us a tip of what we do. Now, there is a flip side to my presentation, and that is what we call intervention loan. Intervention loan comes from the Central Bank of Nigeria, and you can have up to 7 years to pay back. When we started in 2019, we were given single obligor limit of 10 million, and we had a lot of Nigerians who took advantage of that. What happens is that the fund we use is a fund that is backed up by the Central Bank of Nigeria. And what I will advise is that establish a relationship with NISA Microfinance Bank now, begin to run the accounts. Any moment from now, there will be disbursement again for SME loan that can last for up to 7 years in tenure. We realize that there are products, there are farming, transactions that cannot be consummated within the period of 1 year. That is why we have the intervention loan. It will soon start happening. What I have introduced in the SME aspect of the business, that within 12 months, you should be able to pay back and move on. And also for the person that asked the question about, asking for a shorter, tenure. There is nothing wrong in requesting for loan for 2 months, 3 months, turn it around and return the money back to the bank. As a matter of fact, I see that person as a more genuine, more sincere customer, because it is not necessary to delay payment of your loan for 12 months if you have been able to, turn around the fund and pay the bank back. So if you are interested in a loan of maybe 2 months, 3 months, because of the nature of your business, you can approach us and, open an account with us. My people are here, we have the account opening form. After now, you can approach us and you can start.
In our conversation so far.
Honestly, I think I sat down here to learn. Practically speaking, because it's more to me like changing the view, taking a fish out of water and then putting him on the dry land. And so I was just trying to learn agrofinancing. But there's something that you can take away from all of this conversation. Agriculture is actually the way to go. I mean, one of the things I've learned and I would want to encourage people to do it is the fact that the only estate that is real, according to Pastor Matthew Ashimolowo, is real estate. But today, Pastor Matthew Ashimolowo said the only estate that is real estate. But I've also come to confirm and reaffirm that in addition to that, even among the real estate, agro real estate is even more real than
Mr. Ola, please. Dr. Ola, can you join us? I'm so sorry. Dr. Ola, join us. Please join us.
We cannot afford to learn everything that we need here because of time. So we will continue online. And we're going to create the forum so that the speakers can interact with us online, and we will learn and create also a community that Sterling Bank can form and NISA also can form. So please, we will create a community and you can join. And we are also partnering with AG Mortgage Bank to roll out an agro real estate project. So AG Mortgage Bank will share with us the content on that platform. Right now, it has come to our notice that a lot of us came in here fresh and fasting. So we need to hit the lunch table to have our lunch. And while our lunch is going on, we have a bit of entertainment. Then you cannot leave this hall without listening to some of our speakers. Pastor Lee is in the house, and this man has transformed a whole lot of us. I mean, Tope can say, we belong to the same gang. Mr. Ezekiel, even Lagos State itself, Pastor Lee, we drove this on this side. And Anjari is in the house. We have a ladies' conference coming after this, and she's taking our push. This lady has done over 1 billion transactions in real estate, and she's going to be over 4 billion in real estate. Please join our ladies. I mean, we have another section coming up only for ladies, and she's going to tell us how she has been able to close over 4 billion naira in real estate. NISA solution, the Sterling Bank solution, the AG Bank solution, we are all going to aggregate all this collaboration for us, and you can also check their stats as we are going on. For now, we will go for lunch, and we will have Pastor Lee take over after the lunch, and we have also Dr. Ikunova. I mean, you want to listen to real estate analysis in a different
and to grow many of us from raw to gold. Thank you, sir. Okay? Because I have very few minutes, I will quickly run through my slide. Is it showing, please? However, I have what I want to say in me. Okay, from what I've said so far, since morning to this moment, I need all of us here to know that you've got to keep evolving. Get your big acreage approved as a whole. Then after that, you also need to go extra mile by ensuring that you get your building plan approved. What is building plan? Building plan simply means my design that your architect has prepared. Then please seek government approval to ensure that I pay necessary statutory fee, then I can move to site to build. We have so many requirements because of my time to submit my slide, because I know TMO. When 10 minutes is no time, you tell me amen. So we have architectural drawing, structural drawing, electrical, mechanical. It depends on the nature of your design. As soon as you get that, then you also need to prepare your survey. Survey is even the best thing. Survey plan simply expresses to us the shape of the land and the total area of your site. So the shape of the land also matters. We have so many funny figure survey plan that it's even difficult for your design to sit on your plot of land. So please get enough information. Even before you buy your land, you need a town planner. Because not all land are free. We have cemetery acquisition. We have committed acquisition. We have industrial acquisition. We have residential, we have industrial zone use. We have all of those. So if you goof by just buying any land and you now assume that Lagos State government, what's wrong with them? I mean, the state government, what's wrong with them? Osun State, what's going on here? So information is powerful. Information is everything. It transforms. It saves you of so much headache. It saves you of money. You don't even need to bribe government officials. Yes. Do the needful. Plan ahead. I kept telling our people, right? The building that will outlive you. How do you want to get that done in 2-3 months? It's not done. So you give room for our young officer to exploit you. So that's why we are here at this program, to get ourselves equipped for next year projects. If you want to have developmental projects, for God's sake, it is called developmental project. That will add value not only to your capital, even to the immediate environment. That will be constructed by, professionals. Some people use bricklayers to build. but you can't compare them with qualified professionals. And that's why we have a lot of building collapse here and there. Another point I would also like to point out to us at this training session is that we should know that we are the government. Each time I say that, it burns my spirit. Because from what we have learned since morning, I will always stood out and did this. Okutububa did this on their own. Likewise, Rotimi, the MD of Access Rights, did. So what are you doing? What are you doing? We've got to leave this environment the better when we met it. So that's why I said, Niyi Adesanya Bootcamp, Eko Hotel. Because it's a grooming ground to discover and rediscover yourself. I'm a product of that. Even though I'm a civil servant, I will attend training of 1 million naira. Thank you, sir. Now I'm shining. It does not just happen. You attend a training of 500,000. Please avail yourself and equip yourself, and before you know it, all that you will ever need is in God. All that you will ever need is in Him. All that you and I will ever need is in that connect. I kept saying it. Connect to collect. Because we are part of this program, you're already connecting. Because we are part of today's training. I call it training because, see, some of the speakers will be saying this yes, I've been blessed, I've been trained, I've learned a lot. So, you are not the casual you that came in this morning. You are not a better you. So, what I'm trying to say now is that in Lagos State government, we are not just driven by our revenue. We are driven to ensure that we have greater Lagos. That's why I have this band with me. We are all working towards making Lagos a mega city that is safe and sound. Because really, if we all know that we are the government, we do this right. You don't have to build all your plots. You've got to have at least 5% landscape to fight against climate change. Ocean level is rising. What are you and how are you doing as government? Because really, government is simply a regulatory institution. So what are we talking about? Whatever you want, government will not do it. Whatever you want as a stakeholders, you come and initiate policy and you submit and you follow up. Then the word becomes flesh. Then what we want is what we say. I'm running now because of my time. Tell Mama I know that looking at me. You are blinking that they low. I give this auntie no time. She will leave on time. Yes. I also need us to know that we have what is called authorization. Like that girl that Fatima Lane says, that we have a lot of agency under the government. After you have done this, they tell you to do something else. After you have done that something else, they tell you to do this and that. It is all for achieving the aim of team agenda plus now. That's what we run with. The plus simply means the youth inclusiveness in our policy formulation. Authorization is a process whereby after you have gotten your building plan approval, you will need to write another agency called Lagos State Building Control Agency. So what do we do there? We ensure that before you set out and build, we monitor. Even if it's a call abroad, that is what happens. That's why we don't need to jump out to anywhere. Because really, help does not come from above, from abroad. Help comes from. Help does not come from abroad. Help comes from above. So why not get connected to that God of above and get your vision and your assignment, then you begin to run with it. TMO, you are intimidating me. So we've had a lot today again about ensuring that even our land is not fallow. Don't ever have it in mind that because my land is far, I can leave this fallow. You can do parking with your land. It depends on the location. You use it as an event center. You call gardeners, you call all these staff professionals to come use it and you just partner. And as you have done today, you can farm on your land. You don't even need approval for that. You don't need government approval for that.
Or layout approval. when you shall want anything approval in Lagos State, get her number, because she's an asset to us at the Adesanya think tank. And if you have heard it, she said it. You should not be here and not plan to attend the Adesanya leadership bootcamp. There are other partners that are here that I would like to bring in, Mr. Wilson. You know, I always give you deference to especially recognize the people that need to be recognized. So for the ladies in the house, calm down. We're moving into your section. I love talking about women in real estate, realtors in real estate, how women can make money in real estate. Once I hear money, my ears are antenna is sharp. So just calm down and we'll be hearing a whole lot on that. Mr. Wilson, give you a round of applause, please, as he comes to give us a brief about the partnership.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Madam Bello Olainka. We appreciate you so much. So yesterday, we were on the verge of serious planning, and she took me out of the house straight to Alaro City. I mean, you need to visit the wonder of that place. And we are creating some partnership with Lagos State government that we want to talk about in brief seconds. So we have this model of business of investing in real estate that is called EDP, Estate Development Partnership. Real estate requires huge funds, and most times we can't do it alone. So the model we have created for partnership is that when we identify any good property in Lagos State and anywhere else, we make sure that our partners can buy into those properties for 2 uses rather. Are we together? So you don't need to buy land because you want to build on it alone. The same way you trade forex, you buy and sell forex. The same way you trade Bitcoin, you buy and sell Bitcoin, you can trade real estate. And one of the most guaranteed instruments you can trade is real estate. Because the value is there, the value is going to increase, and the guarantee is there. Now we have this scheme we call Estate Development Partnership, and there is a new project we are bringing up with LASPA, which Madam Bello has spearheaded for us to be able to get that project into asset rise. All the thanks to her, and I must say all the thanks to the Adesanya think tank, who has given us the availability of strategic information. You know, we have very big backbone when it comes to real estate. Pastor Lee has put us in a security that makes sure that we trade the right information, we build the right businesses, and we have the right network. So, this estate is coming up by the new Lagos airport. We did Ilu Asheyori at the Thanksgiving, and in less than 3 months, Ilu Asheyori Phase 1 was sold out. So we are unveiling Ilu Asheyori Phase 2. And Ilu Asheyori Phase 2 is just going to be by the new Lagos airport. But presently, from 21st, which is today, till 31st of October, we are going to be releasing it only on EDP, Estate Development Partnership. And this is what it can take for you to be a partner with us in EDP. You can buy this land with the intention of selling it. So you buy 1 hectare at the value of it, and you then sign an MOU with us, or a deal of agreement, that you want us to sell it for you. So we will launch it inclusive of our estate, sell it for the value of it, plus up to 40% return for you. And once your money has hit your account, we will retrieve the papers of the land from you. So you have double security. The land is titled to you, the document is with you. Then you sign an agreement that we can go ahead and sell in our estate. And then you are secure. Because the land is in your custody while we are also building and developing the estate to sell. The risk is more on our part and less on the investor side. Because you have a guarantee, which is the land. And with the EDP model, we are going to be taking a 20 hectares and more in Ilu Asheyori Phase 2. We will unveil the details to us. Just indicate your interest to buy, and we will tell you the process. You will get the land document delivered to you, and we will sign an MOU with you to sell on your behalf. And I can guarantee you that this land has a title. It is Lagos State Government allocation. You don't have business with Omonile. You don't have business with family. Lagos State is the one selling the land. And we are buying a partnership to create a community here. So if you want to join that partnership, we will reach out to you now. You can join the partnership. And together, we're going to organize a visit to the site. You can see where you're buying. Where you are buying will be allocated. You have the document. If you're buying to sell in, you can go and see details of this. And the Smart Asset app is a full detailed solution to how you own your property, from flexibility of payments to the guarantee of fees and to the use that you can put those properties into that will guarantee you money. Either you are doing palm rich or you are building or whatever. Like I said, our approach to real estate is transactional, transitional, and transgenerational. And with the Smart app, this will be a unique opportunity. So, we will unveil this as the event goes on. Right now, I want to bring the same man that we have been calling over and over and over. This man has all the jagaban of real estate in his portfolio in Lagos State. When he comes, all the real estate companies in Lagos listen to him. He's a powerful man who has built a league of people who want to do sustainable business with good structure. And it's our privilege to welcome, with a clapping and stand ovation, if food is not in your mouth, Pastor Lee Adesoya. At this event, I'm going to call him Dr. Lee Adesoya.
Thank you, you take a seat, thank you. First, let me say a big congratulations to Rotimi. I wasn't expecting a big crowd like this. In other words, I was stunned. Thank you so much. A round of applause for Rotimi, please. And then to all the panelists, especially our MC for today, Dr. Marco Diga, thank you so much for holding forth the whole program. And then to my fellow friends, Simon, good to see you again after almost 25 years. And Mrs. Bello, God bless you for everything. Now, simply, I'm going to just do this for 10 minutes at least. Okay? 10 minutes, eh? So you need to stand up when it's 10 minutes. Now, Rotimi said something. He said where his office is right now, that the plot of land there is about 320 million, 350 million naira. Probably somebody sold it to you for 350 million naira. And then you said that the person must have enjoyed what their fathers or their forefathers left for them. Yeah. It may not be totally true in this sense. The forefathers who owned the land, cultivated the land, left it for their children. For their children, because they were not properly built, sold this for peanuts. And then the land developed. And then another man, another family is reaping the reward of the labor of the progenitor of the land. May that not be our portion. And that's why when you come to gatherings like this, and when you hear Sterling Bank tell you that there is an age limit to how far they can go, what they are trying to tell you is that you should be paying attention to your next generation. What is the point of wealth when it cannot go to the third, to the fourth, to the sixth generation? What is the point of prosperity if it cannot be posterity? The blessing of a man is that his wealth goes from generation to generation. And that is the definition of a blessed man. He leaves an inheritance for his children, not just his children's children, and it goes on and on and on and on like that. And also, we all know that the Bible says that you shall be a joy of many generations. In other words, your great-grandchildren should look at your picture hung on the wall. Whether in the house you built or not, but you have so impacted your children, your grandchildren, that they cannot do without hanging your picture on their wall. And then your fourth to the fifth or to the sixth generation is looking at your picture and saying, God bless you, my ancestor. God bless you, my ancestor. That is not achieved by buying houses. That is not achieved by saving a lot of money in your bank account. That is not even achieved by having stocks and shares of company. Like the Yorubas would say, where the child that we didn't build or we didn't train is the one that will sell the houses, the assets that we have acquired. Now, it gladdens my heart when the man from Ekitikupa was saying that what Obafemi Awolowo did 70 years later or 50 years later is still enjoying from these things. And I know Obafemi Awolowo died 1987 when I was just leaving secondary school. Now the question is, what will be happening to your generation even after you have come and gone? The first thing you need to secure is to start looking at assets, investments. Do they make it? But just imagine if your son and your daughters are here and they hear the kind of numbers Rotimi and Co. were throwing out. I tell you, they will start telling you, when are we going back to the village? Because whatsoever you celebrate is what people pay attention to. Whatsoever you celebrate is what people pay attention to. And let me just go back to my first point, which is generating the money. Many a times we don't even understand the businesses that brings in more money. Now, throughout history, there are about 9 industries that have made more multi-millionaires in dollars. You have the financial industry, you have, the health industry, the tech industry, and many more. Also the real estate. But the real estate is the most accommodated. Why? Because I can invest in real estate, I can do real estate without necessarily having all the necessary certifications, more or less. But you can engage in financial transaction without having the necessary stuff. And then the real estate is actually the longest money-making machine that ever existed. And again, nobody in the financial industry or any other industry does not delve into real estate. But again, the real estate is not about you building those houses to sell to make the money. You look at projects that can last 70, 80, 100 years. Because your goal is not to leave wealth for your children alone. Your goal is to leave wealth for the third to the fourth and to the fifth generation. I am not so impressed if you're a billionaire. I'm not. I'm not so fascinated if you're a multi-trillionaire. I'm waiting to see your third or the fourth generation. How will they survive? Can they sustain it? And the Bible says from glory to glory. In other words, it should not depreciate, it should appreciate. But first, as a progenitor, you must make sure that you get the thing going. You build those things, you build those avenues for wealth. And that's why I would advise us to collaborate with people who already knows the way. It is easier for you to join a multi-billionaire or a multi-billionaire and you become a millionaire. Because you may not even know the way. What you just need to do is just to mimic. It's just to copy. It's just to put money when this person is putting money. Many people have become multi-billionaires or millionaires abroad in dollars because they look at one guy, Warren Buffett. Wherever he puts money, they put money. Wherever he takes his money, they take their money out. Just by being zombicious like that. You know what I mean by zombicious? Just by being zombicious like that. So only in one man, they have been able to turn their wealth around. Now, this is it. Rotimi is presenting to us asset rights. Rotimi is presenting to us agricultural real estate. And he's trying to tell you this thing can last 50, 100. And he's even said that his own schooling was made possible after becoming fatherless at the age of 14. Yeah. That it was the palm tree that sent him to school up to the university stage. That is an hint of what he has presented to us. So your responsibility is to start the reaction. And in starting the reaction, wherever Rotimi turns to, you make sure that you are there. Look, to be rich, you don't need too many knowledge. Yeah. Some people who are not as smart as you are richer than you. Some people that you even dusted in school are richer than you. So many business owners are third class. Why do people who work for them are first class? So, information or knowledge does not make you rich. What makes you rich is privileged information.
Yes, correct.
Privileged information. And you only get privileged information in privileged gatherings. Yes. Let me let that sink. Privileged gatherings. When you have millionaires gathered, when you have billionaires gathered, they may be jokingly talking, but in the process of those jokes are the things that you need to hear to change your life. That's why we said the things that will change your life are not going to be thoughts. T-A-U-G-H-T. The things that will change your life are going to be thoughts. C-A-U-G-H-T. And you catch by observation. So your job is to put yourself anywhere asset rise is going. Sign up and make sure that you are in the same room at every point in time when Rotimi is in that room. Privileged information will be made available. But don't forget this. Don't leave your children out of it. Bring them in. Don't go to seminar alone and start to bully them. Bring them in. It will take time. And then run your family and your business with values. Values. Someone has already stood up. That means my 10 minutes is gone. I really wanted to talk for 10 minutes. Someone like me, I can talk for 5 hours, as you can see. But I have to honor every other person here and then the speakers that are coming after me. But please don't forget this. Number one, you need to put yourself in spaces where billionaires are. 1% of the world's population, which is working population, which is about 63 million people. 1% of the world population, working population, controls almost 50% of the total wealth of the world. 1% controls 48.9% of the total wealth of the world. 10% of the working population of the world is about 630 million people. If you add them to the 1%, those two people, those two categories, control 85% of the total wealth of the world. So when you say there is no money, it depends on the level that you are in. But what you need to do, find yourself in the room where the 1% and the 10% are having lunch, they're having seminars. Oh my jabber, and they won't know. They will drop without knowing.
I told him, I said, no, don't use adrenaline, use courage. Your level of courage would increase. Going into the Alicia Leadership Bootcamp moved my own personal finance from hundreds to millions to billions. And it's just because you're in the right place. So if you are here and you have not registered, 750 billion, 750, how many discount for them here? Should we give you, I'm not giving discount for them here. 750. The 750 billion is an investment into your future. See me to register. Oh, I think we get what they were saying. See me to register. It's 750,000 naira to get you in the right room. We've gone to Qatar together. Like I was mentioning, I have followed a few people that I've met there, and I know the money that followed me because I followed. So it's an investment, but you will get a return. You have spent time investing here, but what you do with what you learn here is also make the difference. You know, at the end of the day, very important. So please, once again, give a round of applause for the day and this one. He has raised giants. Giants with results. They said results terminate insult. There's no need for him to talk about the bootcamp. We are the official marketers because we have proof that it works. So follow us as we follow him. Alright, moving on with the rest of the program, we are going to be officially launching smart assets. I wanted to know if I should. You are going to go and download that app now. We cannot have too many apps. Currently, you have Facebook, Twitter, X. You have all the apps that are collecting money from you and taking your time. This is about putting money back into your pockets. So, you'll be told about it by Mr. Rotimi and go on the website and get this, sign in, log in, because at the end of the day, every month you are eating, you are spending, there must be money going into your future assets. So this is smart assets for you.
Thank you. I think we are going to be officially closing this section and switch to the second section. But I can't do this without letting us know that our chairman is in the house, and our chairman will officially close this section. Please, can you welcome the chairman of our centralized group, and also he has led this ship thus far. He's a member of the Board of Regents of Commerce University, and we proudly met in one of the foundations that has built a lot of us in Nigeria. I can proudly say that. And that is the platform of Bishop Ibrahim. He's a pastor in Winners and a trailblazer in the academics. He's the Dean of Communication in Lagos State University. And it's our pleasure to tell you that with his guidance and his wisdom and his wealth of leadership, we have grown thus far. Please, once again, help me applaud Professor Rotimi.
Thank you. Please let me seated. It's a privilege for me to be here this afternoon. I've been here since morning. There's a media academy, Alphabet Media Academy, and the acting or honorary dean of that academy. We just did postgraduate awards of degrees to them. It's a professional academy. So I will have been here fully since morning. But it's a great privilege to be here this afternoon. I want to thank God for everything that has been happening so far. I remember my opening statement when Asset Rise Flag Cup began, which was that though your beginning was small, your latter end should greatly increase. By the time we started, we were that scripture. We lived that scripture. We were very small. We held our first meeting in an office that was not even our own, that was sublet to us to use on a Saturday. And there we gathered and began to pray and to strategize about asset rights. And so we are not here by our power, we are not here by our wisdom, we are here by the grace of God. It is the Almighty God that is backing us up. And I'm happy that we are a part of this move of God in our own time. We are children born in due season. We can clap for ourselves. I've been hearing the panelists who are experts, and it was as if we were in an MBA class since morning, and many of us in master classes on several aspects of investment, particularly in real estate. But Rotimi has brought something unique into the field. Formerly, what used to be was that people bought landed properties and they waited to build on their lands. And until they did so, nothing happened to the land. But with the innovation, creativity, ingenuity, and the wisdom of God in Rotimi, he has brought the dimension of you still earning some residual kind of income while you still live your land appreciating by the day. And I think that nobody can beat this in the industry. We appreciate God for what Rotimi has been doing with his management team. We want to appreciate those of you who have signed on with us, who have had that courage, the audacity of hope, as somebody called it here during the discussion, and you believed that actually asset rise and flat call is worth investing into. People have talked from management perspectives about everything, but let me introduce two more dimensions, which captures everything that we have been saying. What is the basis for sustainability of organizations? I have people discuss that. You could be the best expert in your area, you could have all the monies in the world, but if you lack integrity, if you lack the ethics of doing business, your business cannot outlive you. And I'm happy by our pastor who has just spoken. It is not that we are motivational speakers. We are founded on two basic principles. One, the Word of God. God is our anchor, and we are not here deceiving anybody. And that's why our growth is unsurpassable. Because if God is in it, nothing can bring it down. Secondly, please a clap to Jesus Christ. Secondly, we are founded on business ethics. Business ethics. And we made that known to Rotimi from the beginning. I told him then the only thing that my father left for me, apart from sending me to school, is integrity. And that I'm not ready under any circumstance to trade integrity for money or any amount of thing under the heaven. A situation where people dupe others just to enrich themselves. Nobody among our circle we want to be a part of it. So I made that clear from the beginning because that's what I cherish most. Integrity, ethics in relationship, and then spirituality. And I'm happy that Rotimi is radiating that dream, is keeping that dream alive. So we want to congratulate us, those of us who had partnered with us from the beginning. I remember the first meeting we held publicly at that estate up there, and we had just a handful of people, and it was if will this fly, will it not fly? But these ones have partnered, they have continued with us, like Jesus Christ. These are the ones that have continued with us. Now you are going to enter into your glory in the name of Jesus. I don't want to bore you. I want to assure you that what we're doing is not fake. What we're doing is genuine, is funded on God, on Christ's principles of doing business and the ethics of the profession, and much more so with sound professionalism. On this note, I want to congratulate us all, those that have signed, those that will still sign, even including for our pastor who is organizing the boot camp, and I know he will take me along one of these days when he's organizing another boot camp. I'm just 63, but I'm still investing. I told Rotimi, I have a plan. I've gotten like 20 acres of land in Ilaro now. I'm planning my school after I retire, an academy, and already we have an estate there that is ongoing. We have an holiday resort so that if you are bored with the town, you can come over to somewhere like Ilaro and enjoy your weekend with all that are not available in the town. So we are living what we are preaching, and therefore we want to encourage you. This is the right way, and you will never regret it. Thank you for your attention. God bless us all.
Let's put our hands together for Professor. Thank you, sir. No, just we want to take a few minutes to appreciate our partners, and we are actually going to recognize some persons who are here with the Excellence in Partnership Awards. So please, let's put our hands together as we celebrate this person. In no particular order, so we can run through this. Let's put our hands together as we welcome Barrister Father Ibro Moses. Thank you, sir, for all you do for us. Dr. Freeman Usaluga, if there's anybody in the house to speak on his behalf, thank you. We want to put our hands together for Mr. Tom Anekan. Let's put our hands together for him. Yes. Okay, look at that. Dr. Bolanle Adetutu Olatunji. Let's put hands to Doctor. Look at him. Let's put hands together for Engineer Sophia Udofia. Let's put our hands together for Dr. Nee to please join us as we hand over this kids to the speaker. These are awards. Okay. That's Abiola Olawi. Let's put our hands for Mrs. Kenya. Okay. Thank you. All right, sir. All right, Mr. Babatunde Ashobon in the house. Mr. Babatunde. Mr. Hamzat Fatai Adedoyin. Do we have Engineer Williams Oluwatoyin Okay. Mrs. Abdul Karim Ferrami. Okay, let's put our hands together because the last but not the least is none other than Professor Olatunji Rotimi Williams. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. I think we got everything.
Okay, look up. Thank you.